Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall. And right now, he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right. And whether it's and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative. And that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying a Gator. I don't remember who
but
was
with
the top of my
Jahmyr
head.
Gibbs, I would expect to see more creativity with how you use him.
We're going to get to the Lions at 3. I just wanted to mix in something else before because I know once we get started, it won't stop. I'm super bummed out. The C.J. Gardner-Johnson news, the Dan Campbell audio this morning. My concern level is rising quickly. David, the ticket text, if you'd be so kind. It's a lovely sweatshirt you're wearing today.
Our last 4 head coaches, we got 1 out of 4 right. Why do I believe they will get this right? Mark in Grand Rapids.
That's most schools. And I don't believe they'll get it right. And I'm asking Spartan fans straight up. Like, you don't have to be a donor. Like, if you're just a fan, what the hell do you even have left? I'm just bored by it. As I've gotten older, it's like they've accomplished the things I've always wanted them to accomplish, except for one, which would be a national title. But other than that, it's like, done it all. And now watching them play the role of Kevin's special chili.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have patience for it at 42 years old, like I did at 32 or 22. So you know what? Go ahead. Drop the chili, crawl around in your own filth, and be the idiots that you are. But I don't have to partake in it. I just don't care. It's so sick.
Well, especially because it's so pivotal with next year, you're going to the 12-team college football playoffs, which now means if you're a top 15 team every year, you give yourself a shot at playing in the playoff and seeing what happens, winning some playoff games, extending your seasons, bringing some happiness and joy to your fan base. You're going into a whole another level of college football, and at the same time, you're going back to the Stone Age. And that's where the frustration kicks in if you're a Michigan State fan, because you're right. You don't see hope because the past has said, yeah, this won't work out. You guys are going to screw this up. Even if you find the right person, the right candidate, somebody's going to leak something to the media and say something and just tick that person off so that they cross MSU off the list. I would love to say it's going to be different. I'm not betting anything on that.
Well, it's why you don't hear me blabbering around about like a hot board or a hot list of coaches, because without a functioning president or a real athletic director, sorry, Alan, I wouldn't care. I would laugh. Now, yes, it should be a great job. It should be a job they could pay in upwards of $8 or $9 million a year. Yeah. Beautiful facilities. It should be. The problem is how the sausage gets made.
You should have coaches knocking on the door because you're right. You got a brand new $30 million football building being built. It's still in the process. It won't be done until next fall. So, yeah, you have resources. I mean, you should be fielding phone calls left and right. But instead, they'll hire a search firm and they'll come up with some names and
then the BOT will step
like
in
to welcome
right at
Chris
the
Creighton as the new head coach.
And the BOT will step in at the 11th hour demanding something else, and it'll scuttle the hire.
We need your third grade transcripts.
Perfect. David, ticket text, please, before we get to the Lions, which will be even more uplifting.
Hey, Mike, 36-year-old diehard Spartan. I'm completely with you. Done. I'm sick of it. Good reason not to waste your money on that peacock crap. Steve in Lansing.
By the way, that broadcast was a C-. Hate to break it to you. For all the people, yeah, it was not good. And I like Chris Sims, but it didn't mesh together. I didn't find the visual to be this stunning 4K clarity or anything. You know, people are bleeping themselves over the new
4K
YouTube TV or whatever. Oh. My point is, wasn't a good broadcast. So if you're going to pay all that money and ask people to come on over and
was it Chris Sims and Tirico?
No, it was not.
No,
Tirico.
It was Chris Sims and I don't know, some 23-year-old Syracuse robot.
He wanted to sound like Tirico, but it wasn't Tirico.
Tirico Jr.
No, you know what I mean. School
Right.
of Newhouse. They have him on
Right.
It's like I Love Lucy with the bonbons.
Gotcha.
They just pump out the same broadcaster.
Gotcha.
Assembly line of bots.
Of bots.
I mean, the game was so bad, I can go back and watch it. But
Don't do it.
Don't.
For Mark and Macomb, I have nothing left in the tank. 4 years in the tuck and little to nothing to show for it. And now this disaster, very deflating.
It's just the question of, look, Mel Tucker releasing statements in the school and the mudslinging, and I just don't care. Because reality is it's all about money.
Right.
So.
And that's why I said, pay him off. Be done with it.
I wouldn't pay him a dime. I don't even care.
You have to.
I don't have to do anything. I'm an adult.
I mean, no, you don't have to, Mike, but you know what? You also wouldn't have run your mouth. Somebody at the school did. That's the what?
Rico Beard, breaking news. He knows the leak. I mean, you basically just said it on the air, so why don't you share with the class?
Mike, I don't know who shared the leak, but I know that only people on the campus at the university knew. No one outside the university actually knew this. So for the information to come out means it only came from one source.
We got a text here that says Rico is the leak.
There it is.
Wow.
I'm having fun, Rico.
So let's go to Mark.
Just pay for these shoes.
97.1. Mark, what's going on?
Good afternoon, guys. You made a point about getting their house in order, and I'm going to make a quick point. I'm going to give you a name of a coach you may blow out of the water, but the reason they need to get their house in order is because I think we all see that this college football is going to be about 35 to 45 programs that play at the top level, and they're going to be splitting all the money. And if I'm Michigan State, I want to make sure I have things together and to not risk being one of the have-nots in that deal.
I agree completely.
The next conference realignment / television contract, because if you continue to be a mess and go down the road, because Rutgers ain't going to be in that thing, Northwestern's probably going to voluntarily not be in that thing. The Purdue's, the Indiana's of the world, you don't want to be among them because that's when the money stops. And my name, it's not Butch. It's not like a Butch Jones level of ridiculousness, but this guy has won in a very tough place to win, and his last job is kind of weird, but I think Dan Mullen would be a really good hire.
Doesn't like recruiting.
You know what, Mark? Here's the thing. I was all about that. He was my first hire, and then this guy sitting across from me broke that down. One of the reasons why Florida wanted him out is because he's not about recruiting. He's not about this new style of college football where you got to hit the portal.
My only pushback, and maybe the new conference is going to be different, but I think the Big Ten is more of a coaches league as opposed to the SEC, where it's best assembling talented rosters.
Yeah, but Mark, ultimately,
and I think he's stabilized.
Okay, but hold on. They got worse the longer he was there. Second of all, you're going to have to beat the SEC if you're going to win anything. So, no, would be my answer. And here's the other thing. Show me a real president who prioritizes football the way you need to. Show me an athletic director who won't be, treat it like communism where every sport is equal. Newsflash, they're not. Like, if MSU were serious, I'll tell you what I'd start doing is cutting the non-revenue sports. I'd do exactly what they would do in the SEC if I could get away with it.
Got rid of swimming.
Keep going. If it were up to me, I'd have two sports.
You can't.
I know you can't. I said if it were up to me.
By the way, Mark, Rutgers, Northwestern will be a part of the Super.
Yeah, because the money's too good.
Yeah, Chicago, New York.
248-539-9797. Shout out Media Markets. I knew I'd get you there. Congratulations.
Just letting people know.
We'll get more of your calls, and we're going to get to the Lions at 3 o'clock. We got a lot to do, but we had to open it up. Mel Tucker lawyering it. Help me, I'm poor. I don't really value much of what comes out here on out. He's going to be fired. He's going to beg for money. He's an idiot. We move on. That's really all it is. But I don't.
Money and move on.
Okay, why don't you make the call?
Hey man, if it was up to me, this would have been done by now.
What if Rico is the shadow AD at State?
Trust
Like
me.
Alan Haller unzips himself and it's Rico Beard like the end of a Scooby-Doo episode.
Bruh, you know me better than this. This school would be run a whole lot better if it was up to me. Right here, right now. I know. I'm just across the board.
I know. All right. Uplifting. 97.1.
Well, you know what? If you don't want to be an athletic director, but you do want to work in radio, TV, you're a graphics design artist, Specs at LTU can help you get your career started. Hey, look, I see a lot of my former students, including Jeff, the phone screener. He's here. Why? Because he started as Specs. He found out everything he needed to work in the radio industry, and now he's doing it. This could be you. If you want to do TV, graphics design, that could be you as well. You got to be curious. Visit the website, ltu.edu/specs, to learn more about the Broadcast Media Arts program, Digital Media Arts, and Graphics Communications program through the Specs at LTU programs, located right here in Southfield on the campus of Lawrence Tech. Once again, you're going to be taught by instructors who work in the business. We will not waste your time. You're going to hit the ground running, learning everything you need to know in your respective fields that you are going to go into. So, once again, be curious. Visit the website, ltu.edu/specs. And while you're there, make magic by enrolling in Specs at LTU, the certificate programs. Do that today.
The C.J. Gardner-Johnson possibly being out for the year, that I told you yesterday, I was maybe on the ledge. I'm on the ledge now and it's not just that injury, but that kind of put it over the top. I mean, Sunday's loss was one thing. It's the loss of bodies at this point. I mean, attrition is part of the NFL, but my God, I feel like I can't remember a week where they lost this many players and this many starters, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
Dan
Decker was
Campbell's-
already out, but
Dan Campbell said this morning, he's like, we're gonna be thin. And then he pointed out we were kind of like that last year to start the season too. And I was thinking, and went 1-6 for the start. Let's not have a repeat.
Yeah, I mean it ain't great, but this is the NFL, man. I've said for like the last half a decade, attrition's such a big part of this game, and you've got to have as much depth as possible. We believed in the depth prior to the year. So the question becomes, do you still believe in the depth?
All right, so what I try to do is every weekend, I'm the guy who watches everything. And I try to distill it down into, say, 9 or 10 points for you. And we call it the Weekend Report. All right, we start the Weekend Report with breaking news. Deshaun Watson is butt. What happened to the guy that was graceful and could create and threw one of the most beautiful deep balls in football to where now he moves around the football field like Roberto after a few belts in him? What the hell am I even watching? What happened to Deshaun Watson's ability to play football for money? Rico Beard.
You know what, Mike? I guess the experts are right when they say you can't take too much time away from the game. I thought he was going to be the exception. I really thought last year, okay, it's going to get the rust off. This year, he's going to be that guy. But it was painful watching him. He looked like Bryce Young, except for Bryce Young is new to the league. You're not. You know, I don't think we're going to be seeing him slinging the arrows deep down the field anymore for touchdowns.
He completed 5 passes to Amari Cooper and 6 to team personnel. One problem. The team personnel are not in the field of play. Hey, number 2, shout out Jay Norvell. Coaching malpractice 2 ways. Colorado State. Why are you in the prevent with Colorado on their own 2 and a little over 2 minutes to go, and you still give up a 45-yard touchdown bomb to Jimmy Horn? But then in overtime, you score and you know your team is spent. You're 24-point underdogs.
And?
You don't go for 2 and instead kick the extra point. Help me understand it.
I couldn't get the prevent defense just inexcusable because you had bringing so much pressure on Shedeur Sanders. He was seeing ghost out there.
Shout out Hazleton.
And then, but yeah, for some reason, Colorado took the ball, and even the referees were looking at him like, I'm sorry, what? Did you just say you want the ball? Okay. You get a chance to score. You're on the road. Take the kill shot. You're going to have to go for 2 from here on out. So you got to have 2-point plays already prepared. Use the first one. If you miss it, I'm okay with that because you took a chance. But,
F you to the sun, Jay Norvell.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Deion Sanders and Henry Blackburn, the guy who hit Travis Hunter, knocked him out of the game, the safety. Yeah. Deion wanted to let him know that he's a good player. He doesn't deserve the death threats, and Deion forgives him. The team forgives him, and Travis Hunter has forgiven him.
Cutscene. Jim Harbaugh demands death penalty.
Right.
All right. Number 3, from the I hate to say I told you so update desk. Bama's dead, y'all. Like, dead as a doorknob. Did anyone see Saturday? And I don't want to hear about raindrops and weather delays. Here's your solution for anyone who wants to argue. It's time to tell Nick Saban, it's been great. Get on down the line and hire the man Rico just talked about. I think Coach Prime needs to go south. Because otherwise, and Kenny, be careful, you're on camera. I don't want to see anything uncomfortable here. George is Bama's daddy, and it ain't ever going to change.
Wow, Coach Prime at Bama? That's interesting. You know what? Nick Saban can come on back home. MSU. There you go. Full circle.
I'm good. Thank you.
No, but I think for Nick Saban, he missed on the quarterback, and you're seeing that right now. He didn't hit the portal hard enough. He didn't recruit hard enough. He didn't do something because Bama has taken a step back about 20 years where the Bama quarterback was pretty much nothing. They just beat you with running back and
taking
defense.
Another step. The roster's eroded to a point where Michigan would beat them by multiple touchdowns. They don't have any skill players I care about. They don't have an Amari Cooper.
Which is shocking because you're Alabama.
Right. No, my point is when you lose it, you lose it. The secondary ain't real. They don't have any Will
Kool-Aid
Anderson on that
McKinstry.
team. A big deal. Catch a punt, kid. Let's go to issue number 4. From the National Football League, Cowboys are for real. And they have replaced the Lions as the threat to the privileged Niners and Eagles. Dallas right now is the best defense in the league, and I would argue to you, Micah Parsons is the best player in the league. Quarterback or otherwise, you're watching Lawrence Taylor, people.
Yeah.
Rico Beard, argue it.
You know what, Mike? That's a good reference.
I'm not here for my looks.
Well, you're a beautiful man. Lawrence Taylor.
Yes.
Micah Parsons is him. He gets it done. I mean, Dallas. But here's the thing, Mike.
What?
It's regular season.
It doesn't matter.
See me in the playoffs when you have Zeke Elliott at center.
Number 4.
Remember, Dallas did that.
Iowa is back. Oh, that's right, people.
Nope.
Did you tune
I don't
into?
have a board, but
Did you? Here, I'll do it for you. Did you tune into the offensive factory that was Iowa? Brazenly and openly, in the most Iowa way possible, trying to run up the score. 3 tight ends, awful play action passing with 10 seconds to go to crack 40 for the first time in 4 years because Brian Ferentz, the son of Kirk, head coach, his contract is tied to averaging 24 a game.
he's now ahead. He's in the black. So, yes.
All the style, all the
But
grace.
They didn't cover, though. It was 31
Yes,
and
they
a half
did.
points.
It was 28 and a half.
Oh, okay.
Iowa cares about gamblers.
Okay.
Hey, I want to take you to Club Grifter, shall we?
Okay.
Can someone explain how Brandon Staley still has a job? You know, the Chargers head coach who's an alleged wonder boy on defense, whose team routinely blows games. Oh, and by the way, your heartthrob, Justin Herbert. At what point am I allowed to criticize the pretty boy? This guy does not show up in big spots, Rico Beard. Argue it.
I mean, he's just a younger version of Josh Allen, but he'll get there. He'll get there. I'm just saying Josh Allen doesn't show up to big games either. But I don't know how Staley is employed. Mike, he's one that I could easily see a change because it's the Chargers.
They're about to be 0-3, Rico. They're at Minnesota this week.
Chargers are the AFC version of the Cardinals, where they just find a way to lose. Just wait. I know you have a big lead. You'll lose it. Oh, and here it is. You lost.
I'd like to shout out people who were upset at me for saying I wouldn't go to the state game as a Wolverine. Why? Because people are animals. I take you to Foxborough, where a 53-year-old father of 2 was punched in the face and killed this weekend at the game. Also, shout out Ravens fans, shout out Eagles fans, shout out NFL everywhere. When did this become a thing? All I know is it is a thing. And being at these games, I swear, people are animals.
I think it's always been a thing, Mike. Heck, I remember the fights that used to happen at the Silverdome in the upper deck when the game was out of hand. You would just turn around and watch the Sunday afternoon fights because it happens. But yeah, when I read that report, I was just like, wow. I did think about the whole, when you said don't go to the state game.
It's because people are animals.
And
it's not a threat. It's reality.
But here's the thing. You know what sparked that after you said that? Became the Michigan I want to fight guy. You know what? I wish somebody would get in my face. I wish somebody would do that. I'm going to be ready. Well, congratulations. You are now what we were talking about. You've become what you hate.
And a 53-year-old father of 2's dead.
Over a game.
Wild. And the last point on the weekend report. People, I need you to set your calendars. You need a hall pass. You need free time for Saturday, Ohio State in South Bend. Now, I know if you're a Michigan fan, foreign concept actually playing someone in the non-conference, but this is a game you should watch. Not only to remind yourself what actual football looks like, but I think we get our answer to whether Ohio State has any shot of beating you this year. Notre Dame is a food stamps version of you. Physical, ground and pound. They're going to lay it on you. And let's see how Ohio State responds to that.
Mike, I'm going to take it a step further.
Please do.
Ohio State is representing the entire Big Ten. If Ohio State goes out there and lays an egg, it kind of tells me this conference is booty, and there's nothing really in it.
You need Ohio State to tell you that?
No, but I'm just saying, Ohio State goes out there and shows their belly to Notre Dame, then you know what? If you're Michigan or Penn State, you have to run the table. One loss, you're done. Because an undefeated Texas, the Pac-12, Florida State, somebody in the SEC. There's only 4 spots available. Guess who's the weakest conference this year? It's you.
People, that is the Weekend Report. When you've been injured in an accident, whether it's auto, truck, motorcycle, you name it, slip and fall, David Feminenio, the guy you need to call. And we've told you, when you get injured in Michigan, you get David and you get paid. He will personally make sure you get every dime you deserve, and he won't take a fee until you get paid. So if you're injured or know someone who is, tell him to call David Feminenio, 855-65-CRASH, or go to that website, getdavidgetpaid.com.
Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall, and right now he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right, and whether it's and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative, and that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying a Gator. I don't remember who
but
was
with
on top of my
Jahmyr
head. That's a
Gibbs,
great
I would
play call.
expect to see more creativity with how you use him.
We're going to get to the Lions here in about 10 minutes. And I hate everything I'm about to talk about, and I'm incredibly disappointed. It's just not how I wanted it to be, and it's not – I don't know, guys. I don't know what to say. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's out for the year. Our left tackle's in a boot. Our starting running back is on one leg. I quit. We'll get to it momentarily. David, some ticket text, please.
Michigan State needs the absolute right perfect candidate, someone who understands the dynamic of Michigan State and Michigan. Someone says, hear me out, Mike and Rico. His name is Terry Malone.
What?
They say Terry Malone. That's the name they sent.
Who? Guys, do me a favor. Just, can we I have seen some of the dumbest hot lists out there. Just stop. Everybody just stop. Please, I beg of you.
As an MSU fan, I've reached a level of apathy past frustration, past grieving.
That's
not
right.
a fandom death sentence, but a mountain of trust issues that needs to be scaled to earn my interest back.
Let me open the caffeine for a moment. There we go. Let's get after it. I'm with you.
Terry Malone. I was like, he's still yeah, he's the Bowling Green coach.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I'm like, who?
Yeah, he used to coach at LSU, correct?
Yeah, by the way, I mean, are we allowed to talk about U of M, even though these are exhibitions? Because another thing I'm getting tired of, to be honest with you, is the J.J. Heisman stuff. Can we stop, please? Like, you played nobody. You threw 3 picks Saturday night.
Yeah,
I'm watching kids around the country play real games and put up real numbers. Can we just stop? Maybe?
I think the J.J. Heisman thing pretty much ended. He's got to throw about 7 touchdowns against Ohio State just to get a seat.
Oh, really? During the Colorado game, he was like 5th on the list. I mean, like, just because you want something to be true, it doesn't make it true. Here's your candidacy.
I could pick 5 quarterbacks in the Pac-12.
Here's your candidacy for JJ. His resume will be limited numbers, didn't play a ranked team until mid-November. Sorry, you don't win the Heisman.
And 3 turnovers against Bowling Green.
Like, what are you talking about? He's QB3 in draft prospects was what I saw.
Over Michael Penix?
Yes.
Okay. And Rico just won America's Next Top Model.
Hey.
So there's that.
Congratulations.
Congrats, Rico.
Killed the swimsuit.
Right. Form fitting.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on the board. I quit. Everything is just a complete con in life these days.
Just remember, nothing is ever as bad as it seems.
No, I'm saying the way things are covered.
I know.
Guy throws 3 picks as a 40-point favorite. You toast.
7-6 when I left the stadium, and I'm like, so. And I'm like, Mike, is he out the game? Did he get knocked out? Is concussion protocol? No, he just sucks today.
That was it. What else was I supposed to say?
I'm like, maybe something happened first play of the game. He gets sacked. He's in concussion protocol. They put the backup in. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, no. I mean, we'll talk about it. I don't know what I'm supposed to take out of these games. Wait, Rutgers is on the clock. Wake me up when they play a team that's remotely okay.
November 11th.
Here, we'll go on the board. We'll make it quick. Ready? Go. I'm terrible. Push with Carolina, loss with the Browns. I guess I didn't handicap Nick Chubb's leg exploding and Deshaun Watson playing like he was on lewds. I got nothing. I'm sorry. I'll see you Thursday night for football. Here's Rico to have a brave hit a home run.
Well, it was Kenny basically jinxed us all. Said, guys, if Nick Chubb goes down, it kills everybody's bets.
Yeah, I did say that, and that's exactly what happened. I'm sorry, guys.
Die.
You know what?
God bless it, Kenneth.
Short term, long term. Tonight, Matt Olson plus 440 to hit a home run.
What has he got, 60?
He's got, I think, 52, 53.
Good God.
You want a long-term value pick? You better get it now while it's hot. Michael Penix Jr., that number is getting smaller. He is now plus 480 to win a Heisman.
Well,
it was at 1,000.
If you want a number that's moving in the National Football League, I can offer it. The Minnesota Vikings were 2-point underdogs on the open to the Chargers. It's now a pick 'em, and it's juiced, meaning you're going to be laying points with Minnesota if you wait later in the week. Now, again, hosting the Chargers, do you trust Minnesota? It's 10 days rest. They're 0-2. They're at home. I worry the Chargers, if they ever put it together, are a bit of a, as Kenny puts it, offensive wagon. But, man, Brandon Staley's a loser. So, Vikings, if you want to get it before it goes. Any other players you want to kill, Kenny?
No, I will kill your team, though. The Toronto Blue Jays traveling to New York to take on the Yankees.
Are the Yankees still playing?
They are still playing.
You can't hurt me.
Unfortunately. Even money, if you just want to pick the Blue Jays on the money line, they're playing for a playoff spot. The Yankees are playing for nothing. So Blue Jays money line.
Hooray. David, congratulations on the most ridiculous win ever.
Whatever.
Okay.
Can you two just be happy when your team wins?
Let me know when my offense scores.
They scored enough points, David.
No, they didn't.
No, the defense scored enough points.
You
to
won
win
the game.
No, you beat cracked out Deshaun Watson. I don't know what that was.
You win the game.
It's like the videos I've seen of people on that new drug Trank and they're zombies. Put a white helmet on it, and that was Deshaun Watson last night.
Trank.
I didn't know what I was watching. Oh, you got to see it. There's like a big open drug market in Philly. People are walking around like zombies and stuff. It's a terrible drug.
What is that?
The point I'm telling you is that's how Deshaun played last night.
Oh, you mean Kenny Pickett?
Well, yeah, he Pickett to Pickens. Touchdown.
It works once a game.
I can't understand. David, your team, Kenny.
We have nothing
Kenny,
else.
would you have been happy if the Lions scored 2 defensive touchdowns and only 1 offensive one?
I don't know why he's complaining about a win. I would have loved for my team to win over the weekend.
Because Kenny's a loser who's never experienced a Super Bowl, and David's a winner. Home of the Steel Curtain, home of Permane Brothers, home of amazing fireworks at the stadium, home of Mike Tomlin / Omar Epps as head coach.
Well, heck.
He knows winning. Well, Kenny doesn't know his bleep hole when it comes to winning.
Well, between the three of us, we've seen 13 Super Bowls?
And 2 of us still act like winners. The third acts like a loser.
You're right, Rico. We're going to the Super Bowl. Look at us. Yay!
Oh, shots fired. Wow.
You know what? I'm bitter. Leave me alone.
That's on the board.
Friday's going to be a fun show.
Yeah, it's great. Hey, start the NFL week off right. Bet the Niners to just absolutely assassinate the Giants Thursday night. No sweat, same game
we
parlay.
respect the Giants.
You shouldn't. Place a three-game same game parlay in this week's Giants-Niners game. I don't know. Rat Purdy over yards. Debo doing Debo things. Maybe Daniel Jones with a blank look on his face. Plus 280. It's all there for you.
You mean Brock Purdy?
FanDuel.com/ticket. Don't miss out on the no sweat same game parlay for Thursday night football. 21 and up, present Michigan. Refund issued, non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms. Sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem 1-800-270-7117. I'd prefer to not be here right now. Welcome in. People, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our expectations, but that's where I'm at. It's a beautiful day here in Detroit. It's a beautiful life. But I have to tell you, I have to lower my expectations for this team because they're not ready for it. They're not ready to deliver on what I thought they were ready to deliver on. Because yesterday was unforgivable. That was as rat-ass, sloppy, nonsense a performance as you're going to see. 10 days rest, coming home, a team coming to town who has no playmakers up front and has street free agents at both tackle spots. You hit the quarterback one time. This team went out and made mistakes that they just don't make. And whether it's, I got a real problem with one of the 4th downs, but that's fine. The fumble to come out of the half, to flip the game on its ear. This defense on 3rd down, able to do nothing
nothing. And Rico's BFF, Geno Smith, beats us again.
Well, let's get into it. Metro Detroit, great to have you. And I hate everything we're about to talk about. I need to know what your concern level is for the Lions. The loss Sunday was bad. We talked about it for damn near 4 hours yesterday. Both Dan Campbell's end of game decision-making, the defensive game plan, and the injuries that you incurred. Well, the news got worse late last night, where now C.J. Gardner-Johnson has a torn pec and is in all likelihood done for the year. When you add it to the list of you're not going to have James Houston until November, week 10. J-Mo's already gone through week 6. You have Taylor Decker injured. You have David Montgomery injured. You've got a brutally difficult game against Atlanta and a short turn to Green Bay on the road the following Thursday. Guys, I have to be honest. I mean, obviously, Sunday we talked about, Rico had a great question yesterday. Has it changed your expectations? Yeah, it changed mine. You're out, Dallas is in. Meaning it's San Francisco, Philly, Dallas as the 3 big dogs. I'm very concerned. And if you want to go scale of 1 to 10, I'm at about a 7. I'm at a 7 because I still can't trust Dan Campbell late game strategy. I'm at a 7 because somehow, some way, on your own 44, 4th and 2, 4th and 3, whatever it was, up 21-17. He's rolling bones at the casino. I'm at a 7 because defensively, you don't have a bookend to Aiden. You don't have a pass rush through 2 games. We still don't have Mosley out there, and I just think you lost the heartbeat of your defense in C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I told you guys, I loved that signing. I didn't like it. I loved it.
He brought energy. I mean, he embraced he filled the void that Jamal Williams left, except for he didn't do and say weird things. But he was that guy that the entire city wrapped their arms around Jamal. He became the leader. Especially after you beat Green Bay and he cried for this city. Come on. And then CJ comes in and puts on the mask and like, yes, we're going to be the villains. Why not us? And then he goes down for the year. I think you're going to beat Atlanta. But there is concern there because I think you're going to see Dan Campbell probably get even more of a gambler. He's going to do more 4th down plays. He's going to take more risk, because he's going to have fewer players out there. So when he sees an opportunity to score, he's going to try and take advantage of it and not play as smartly. I'm not quite at 7. I'm at 6. Lose this game to Atlanta, and all bets are off.
Look, the concern is the injuries as much as anything else, and the way they lost to Seattle. The idea that Geno Smith came in here again and cut them apart. The idea that Dan Campbell, towards the end of the game, 57 seconds left, 3 timeouts, and played for the tie. Did you hear the audio this morning?
Yeah.
Here, let me play this for the people. You want to know why I'm concerned? Here. David, do you have that? This is Dan Campbell from the morning show when he was asked about the strategy towards the end of the game. Listen to what he had to say. What planet does this man reside on?
How did they agree?
I don't speak for them. I'm just using the audio.
I'm sorry, that just came out the wrong way. But how in the world you were playing for the end of game? So you were playing for overtime, is what you're saying. Instead of at home, sending all of those people home happy, the people who cheered for you and rooted for you the entire game, you had the ball.
57 seconds.
And
3
you're on
timeouts in your pocket.
Right, you're on their side of the field.
You ran the Khalif Raymond play, gain 11 yards. You're at the 27. Like we did this yesterday. The idea that Mr. Aggressive played for a tie there or, quote, treated it like halftime, that concerns me.
Right.
I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson's an awesome player. That concerns me. Decker hurt, concerning. David Montgomery, multiple weeks, concerning. Like, we have a problem here.
Right. I mean, if you were on your own 30-yard line with 57 seconds left, maybe you're just thinking field goal. But you're on their side of the field, 3 timeouts, guys. We're going to take a couple shots. We don't have to even go to the end zone. We got enough that we can hit some chunk plays, get this to around the 8-yard line, set up something, hit Raymond for a touchdown, walk-off winner, we all go home happy. But you do not sit here and start thinking about overtime, especially in the NFL, where if you lose the coin toss, you may not see the ball, which is just what happened.
Look, I just thought he would have learned. And it's clear he hasn't learned. And even if you accept all of the gambling man routine during the game, fine. Then you can't accept what they did with 57 seconds and 3 timeouts. You can't. So that's a big concern to me. The NFL, it is a game of inches. It is a game of 5 or 6 plays or moments deciding your week. And the problem is we're going to keep coming back to this, and can I trust Dan Campbell to make that move? I know they love him. I know they play for him. I've accepted that he's going to do things a different way than I would do it. That's fine. But the end of the game, to not call that timeout until 26 seconds to go, I don't know what you were doing there.
No, that. But I mean, when you hear the mentality of, well, I was just playing for these because I thought it was like halftime. It's like, no, Dan, if you score, the game's over. You win. They're not going to come back. And if you do it the right way, you could bleed the clock, but you're inside the 10-yard line to make sure that, okay, if we don't score now, we'll kick a field goal. It's a chip shot, but you set yourself up for some type of a play. This is where Jahmyr Gibbs can come in handy, run him out the wheel route in the backfield. You do something. You don't play for overtime at home. I'm sorry.
Can I offer something that'll make me feel a little bit better about this team?
Sure.
And it's not like fantasy radio or make a, like this whole wish on a star routine. There's a small trade they could make. And I kind of think it's necessary after seeing where they're at with Jahmyr Gibbs and how they might want to use him.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Reports are the Rams, Brad Holmes' old employer, are, quote, headed towards trading Cam Akers.
He was a healthy scratch.
And that's fine. I'm not telling you you're signing Walter Payton. The point I'm making is he's in the last year of his rookie deal. It won't cost much. It's clear you're not ready to have Jahmyr Gibbs tote the rock. He was completely ineffective running the ball. And if David Montgomery is hurt or just takes a little time to get back, I can't have Craig Reynolds in the game. Would you pick up the phone and call and try to acquire Cam Akers?
I did think about that, and yeah, I think that is that's something I definitely would do. Just to see how much do you want him for. If you can get him for a 5th, 6th round pick, yeah, sure, gone. I'll make the trade.
Because look, they're short on weapons.
But here's the thing. You shouldn't have to because you drafted a running back.
Rico, I'm trying to live in the now.
Okay.
You are not wrong for, all right, people, I'm going to say this to you since Rico won't listen to me. He is not wrong for what he's saying. You're going to get mad at Rico and go, see, he's doing, no, he's not. He was never on board with the running back at 12. Neither am I on principle. But once they did it, I was not going to knock the player. I wasn't going to knock Gibbs because I love Gibbs. But when you're in the moment now, he's got a right to say it because he never liked it. I'm in the here and now. I need an answer at running back because I cannot look at Craig Reynolds. I want to know where your concern level is, guys. And it's totally okay if you say RELAX. I will just tell you, this game Sunday is going to be more difficult than you realize. And Arthur Smith and his scheme and the way they run it and the three-headed monster they have of Tyler Algiers, Bijan, Cordarrelle, they got Kyle Pitts, Drake London. Guys, you lose that game, which, by the way, you opened up as a 5-point favorite. You're a 3-point favorite. You lose Sunday, panic levels at a 10 because you're not the Bengals. You don't get to start out 0-2, 1-2, 2-3, and recover. And what did we all say? The one thing they could not do, get off to a slow start.
Again, yeah.
Dan Campbell, month of September and October as coach, 2-15.
That's a great stat. I didn't realize that.
Games. And again, well, the team was bad his first year. That doesn't mean you have to start out 0-10. Well, they turned it around last year. You started 1-6. If you lose Sunday, it vaporizes what you accomplished in Kansas City.
Right, because now you're going to Green Bay on 3 days rest.
And you will have vaporized 2 home games.
Yep.
You cannot lose back-to-back home games and be taken seriously as a playoff team.
2 home games in the NFC, which now means 2 teams would hold a tiebreaker over you in the future.
So I'd love to know where you're at with it. 248-539-9797. And while I'm not panicked, my concern level is rising. That Dan Campbell audio didn't do anything to make me feel better. But the injuries, along with the late game thing from Dan Campbell, I go, oh, man, we're kind of getting to the edge here. Rico, you lose Sunday and you got a short turnaround to a road trip to Lambeau. Really? You want your whole season on the line in week 4?
Yeah, you lose Sunday and all that good feeling you had after Kansas City for 10 days.
See, that's gone now.
Man, that seems like last year.
Losing to the Seahawks in essentially the same game you lost to them last year, instead of 48-45, 37-30, still featured a pick six.
It did.
Still let Geno Smith cut you apart.
But you had house money when you beat the Chiefs. So you're 1-1, and being realistic, most Lions fans thought that they would be at this spot. They just thought the games were going to be reversed. You lose to the Falcons, and now you're in a hole. Now all the people who said, they're going to win 12, 13 games, well, that's going to be in question, especially when you had an opportunity to win the game and your coach played for
I thought
overtime.
they could be an 11-6 team. But when you start losing, look, they shouldn't have lost to Seattle. See, I don't play the game of, well, I'll just trade it out. No. They beat Kansas City.
No.
I'm not trading it out.
Well, Mike, no, that's you. That's your personality. I'm saying, but a lot of Lions fans can rationalize this loss by saying, well, we weren't supposed to beat Kansas City in the first place.
But that's because they act like losers. I act like a winner. You don't rationalize losses. I can't. If they lose to Atlanta, they're clearly not who I thought they were. And I'm concerned that the injuries are adding up and this coach still in a late game spot. didn't run the game right in my way.
I still don't know how you could sit here with a straight face and say, well, I was just playing this like it was going into the half and we were just going to use the overtime. Like, Coach, you may not get the ball in overtime.
248-539-9797. We'll get to the people next. 97.1.
The baseball playoffs almost here. I need the fastest internet. Hold on. Excuse me. Take two.
Wow.
The baseball playoffs are almost here, and I need the fastest internet around to keep up with all the action. Xfinity connects me to more of the great games that I love, and with Xfinity Internet, I get the speed I need at a great price. No more frozen screens, no more pixelated video, just pure, uninterrupted streaming bliss. Xfinity Internet is built to handle all your digital demands with speeds that will make your head spin. Enjoy all your favorite apps, all in one place, with the Flex 4K streaming box, all with Xfinity Internet. Xfinity allows me to stream all my favorite shows and all my favorite games without interruptions. That means I get the latest scores as they happen. Latest injury updates, fantasy stats. Choose from a variety of speeds depending on your needs, including gig speeds up to 1.2 gigabits per second, and enjoy reliable internet on all your devices. To get started, call 1-800-XFINITY, visit Xfinity.com, or drop into a local Xfinity store today for more details. Maximum download speed of 940 megabits per second when hardwired via Ethernet. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed based on Xfinity's fastest available download speeds.
The CJ Gardner-Johnson possibly being out for the year, that I told you yesterday, I was maybe on the ledge. I'm on the ledge now and it's not just that injury, but that kind of put it over the top. I mean, Sunday's loss was one thing. It's the loss of bodies at this point. I mean, attrition is part of the NFL, but my God, I feel like I can't remember a week where they lost this many players and this many starters, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Decker was already out, but
Dan Campbell said this morning, he's like, we're gonna be thin. And then he pointed out we were kind of like that last year to start the season too. And I was thinking, and went 1-6 for the start. Let's not have a repeat.
Yeah, I mean it ain't great, but this is the NFL, man. I've said for like the last half a decade, attrition's such a big part of this game, and you've got to have as much depth as possible. We believed in the depth prior to the year. So the question becomes, do you still believe in the depth?
Perfect temperature to sleep. I mean, pretty much what's outside right now. 68 degrees. You want to debate it? Call somebody else. What's not up for debate, the eco-friendly, most comfortable mattress made. It's the iComfort Eco. Supportive, designed to keep you cool, comfortable, and feeling restored. Or the Serta Perfect Sleeper for pressure-relieving comfort and support while maintaining a balanced sleep temperature. Serta, made in Michigan, have been for 110 years. Just go to Serta.com to find a retailer near you. Yeah, and it never should have come down to a holding call, so I don't care. David, ticket text will go to the people. What's your concern level? C.J. Gardner-Johnson is now out for the year, torn pec. The injuries are adding up. And look, I've defended Jared Goff. I think he's better than most people give him credit for, but I have never confused Jared Goff with being Pat Mahomes or Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow or Josh Allen. And if the talent erodes around him, you don't have the guy at quarterback that's going to be able to cover up all of those warts, if you will. I'm concerned early. David, go ahead.
Fellas, I'm at a 2 on the worry meter. The foundational mantra of DC and this regime has been rooted in this. I don't believe now. Did I ever really believe at all? Alex N. Howell.
What?
He's saying he said a 2, but he doesn't sound like he believes.
He's saying he believes in the coach and the defensive.
Yeah, he says the foundational mantra of DC is Dan Campbell.
Oh, okay.
And this regime has been rooted in exactly what Dan Campbell's saying and doing.
So he doesn't believe and never has.
That too doesn't. I don't understand.
Okay. English, please.
David, that's one. No, I'm kidding.
Concern is a 7. I had them at 10 wins this year 2 weeks ago. Now it's down to 7, and I'm already looking at the Red Wings for hope. That is from Ryan.
That's a little much for me.
My concern level is 5. The offense is still largely intact and can win shootouts. We will beat Atlanta. Tim in West Bloomfield.
Can they? Can they win a shootout? Is that really what they're designed to do?
No. They're designed to manipulate the clock, grind it out. First team to 24. That's this type of team. And it's okay. You can win a lot of games that way. But, to me, like the Ravens are a team like that. Not going to shoot this thing out. We're going to play defense. We're going to do whatever. First team to 24 will win. But a shootout, no.
They wasted resources on an offense that was fine. Instead, on defense, they effed up, he says. Panic meter is at a 9.
Yeah, but hold on. Here's my problem. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, they spent money on. Cameron Sutton, they spent money on. Mosley, they spent money on. They drafted Jack Campbell. Like, they added to this defense. Now, if you want to tell me you wanted something more up front, I agree with you. But don't just make stuff up because it sounds good. Offensively, they needed a running back. I hate to break this to you. Jamal Williams was let go in free agency. DeAndre Swift was never the long-term option. Okay. They got David Montgomery. They added Jahmyr Gibbs. You need multiple backs in today's sport. Hello, Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the Jerome Ford experience or Max Strong or whatever his name is.
But Cleveland is the one I'm thinking probably is picking up the phone asking for Cam Akers right now. They're offering the world.
Nope. Try again.
Really?
You know who they're calling.
Who, Cleveland?
Kareem Hunt.
Oh.
Knows the offense.
You're right.
So bottom line, you need multiple backs. Guys, look, if this is just going to turn into the draft, that's fine. I'm trying to just, where are we at now? Let's go to the people. See where they're at. We'll go to Luke, 97.1. What's up, Luke?
What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Good, brother. What's going on?
Hey, man, listen, I ain't hit the panic button yet, but I'm real close. So me and my buddy talked about the Seattle game. Dan Campbell's team always makes Geno Smith look like Geno Marino out there. That's what we call him, Geno Marino. And I don't know if he's really that good or if we just make him look that good, but I seen it coming. It was a trap game, classic Lions trap game. But next week, when Atlanta comes to town, I'm telling you, man, if they don't handle their business, I'm hitting the red button.
Oh, I think you should, because if you don't, you have to go short turnaround 3 days later in Lambeau Field.
Exactly, Mike. And hey, one quick question. I want your opinion. Why don't they take the ball when they win the coin toss at the beginning of the game? The Lions need, in order to win games, they got to score first, it seems like, or pull a rabbit out of the hat. Why don't they take the ball? Why are they playing football like they're an elite team?
Well,
why not get the ball first, build some momentum,
I'll tell
try
you
to
why.
score?
The theory is, and it's been proven over time, Luke, the possession in the second half is worth more than the possession to start the game. And invariably what you create is the ability to double dip.
Yep.
You get the ability to do what the Patriots did all those years. You get the ball going into half and coming out of the half. Knowing you have the first possession of the second half is a very powerful tool to win probability. Yes. Now, I understand if I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, do you want to take the ball first? I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Right, if you had a high-powered offense, yeah, I'm going to put you down 7-0.
You know where
and
I'll
make
take the
play.
ball first if I got a great offense? College.
Or
That's different.
You defer, but you just don't turn it over 10 seconds to the second half.
Well, now there would be the winner, now wouldn't it? Let's go over to Rob, 97.1. Hello, Rob.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good,
Hey,
Rob.
Rob.
What's up?
Hey, first-time caller. A couple of weeks ago, Mike said, what's it going to take for you to believe in this team? And my firm belief of this team is they still cannot finish a game. They find ways to lose. And it's just beyond me of how Campbell makes stupid decisions in order for that to happen. I just don't understand it. Why, everybody loves this guy, and he's a great motivator. But as far as a head coach, he's terrible, in my opinion. But I'll hang up, and you guys can comment on that. Thanks.
Listen, I can't sit here and defend what he does in the game sometimes. No. What I'll defend is this is the sick part. He's got the hardest part of coaching down pat. Getting a room of 53 grown-ass men who all have their own agenda, who are all fighting to put bread on their table, to believe in you and to play for you. He's got that down pat.
But see, Mike, I think the reason why he does that is because he's not that far removed from being a player. So he knows what players need to hear. And they see him as being kind of the cool uncle. Like he's not some old crotchety coach. He's one of us. Now, that same strength is what's also his hindrance. You don't have enough experience in the actual game to know what to do in certain situations. Like it or not, folks, Dan Campbell is still learning on the job. That's okay. A lot of you right now in your jobs are learning on the job. You kind of got a position and you're trying to figure it out. The thing for Campbell is he's doing it in front of the world. If he makes a mistake, we all see it. Like going into the end of the game thinking, I'll just play for overtime. No, you don't do that. You go for the kill shot when you have three timeouts. When you have none, okay, that's different. You can't use the middle of the field. 3 timeouts means you could throw the ball, you could run trick plays, you could do whatever you want, kill the clock, and set up for the next play.
Look, my concern lies in this. If you want to start talking about the defense and you go, well, what about the draft? Here's the deal. You got a guy in Romeo Okwara who hasn't been healthy. Hey, you guys played like 5 snaps. All right, you're paying him $12.5 million. Nothing burger. You got Charles Harris as this veteran rotational pass rusher, making about $7 million. Nothing burger. C.J. Gardner-Johnson was one of your 10 highest paid players. He's out for the year. See, this starts to add up where now I got $28 million. In 3 defensive players, I'm getting nothing out of it. Mm-hmm. That is if you want to know why Mikey went from Mr. Excitement to concern, that's a part of it, because you only, on the pie graph of this is my money, about 15% of it just vaporized. Then you factor in the injuries on the offense. Then you factor in your head coach didn't run a late game situation right, and I go, oh, man. Uh-oh.
You still got Rodrigo.
Kindly leave. I'm going to tell you about Northville Lumber. Oldest company in the state, largest Trex decking outlet in America. Nobody stocks more, nobody sells more than Northville Lumber. Last year, they moved enough product to cover 26 football fields. And look, Northville can move that much product because everything's in stock all the time. It's relevant because there's no lead time, no wait time, no special orders, no rush orders. It's all there for you. All you need to do, stop on in. And deck season is going to be cruising on. It's going to be 78 and sunny Saturday. Deck season in this state is premium into mid-October. I stand by that. Minus some of the rain. The point is Northville Lumber will introduce you to a Trex certified pro. So all you need to do, call today or go to northvillelumber.com. That's northvillelumber.com.
Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall, and right now he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right, and whether it's and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative, and that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying a Gator. I don't remember.
But with Jahmyr Gibbs, I would
expect
expect to see more creativity with how you use him.
I'd prefer to not be here right now. Welcome in. I just, people, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our.
So we're talking Lions. I do want to, for the first time in a couple of weeks, I'd like to bring up Michigan, if you guys wouldn't mind, at 4 o'clock. I'd love to get your read on your team, because I can tell you this, radio host, I don't know what I'm supposed to take out of these games. And I'd like to know. And look, I think the exciting part, we get to see Ohio State Saturday night against Notre Dame, and that's a litmus test. There's a corollary between how they perform there and then how they'll perform against you. Mm-hmm. We'll get into it at 4. But I was talking with Rico about this, David, just during the break. I think the reason for concern for me is the following. You've paid a lot of money to several defensive guys that are either now hurt or giving you nothing. So if I said to you, David, where is Romeo Okwara on your payroll? Where do you think he ranks?
Romeo Okwara, I believe, is one of their highest paid defensive players.
You'd be correct, sir.
Yeah.
You can put it on the board. 4th highest paid guy. Played about 28% of snaps. Never been healthy. Didn't do anything, right? You hit Geno Smith once. Okay. Where's C.J. Gardner-Johnson on your payroll?
Ooh, 1-year deal. He's probably up there as well.
9th.
Out
for the season.
Wow, okay.
Okay. Where's Tracy Walker, who, if Gardner-Johnson doesn't get hurt, played a whopping 9 snaps on Sunday?
Tracy Walker's done.
Okay, well, he's your 7th highest paid player.
Ooh.
Charles Harris is your 8th highest paid player.
Yeah, I knew he was high up there.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he does nothing. So here's my point. Is there a pathway to calming the concern? Tracy Walker has to be Tracy Walker again. Clearly he's not, because they brought in C.J. Gardner-Johnson for a reason, and Tracy Walker played 9 snaps.
But not only that, they drafted Branch as well. So Tracy Walker, yeah.
There we go.
Right.
So you have that. But it's the Charles Harrises and the Aquaras. These are players that when you want to bitch about the draft, I would also encourage you to say, well, wait, how did we spend our money? That's just as important. Because when I go through that list right there and I find $40 million of poof.
Right. But remember, they wanted to keep the band together and bring them all back. So they said, why go searching? We have all the players we need right here in Detroit. Let's just re-sign these guys.
I think the other thing that hurts you, your highest paid guy's Goff. He should be. He's your quarterback. But he don't make no $50 million. Decker and Ragnar. So your top 3 are offense. Ready for here's the in order. Your payroll. Okwara, defense. Sutton, defense. Hutch, defense. Walker, defense. Harris, defense. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, defense. Anzalone, defense. Mosley, defense. Then you get to Penei Sewell. My point is you have all this money invested in the defense, and most of the guys I just listed are doing nothing.
You haven't even seen Mosley at all.
And again, my concern lies. Campbell late game, losing to Seattle the same way, says you're not tangibly better. And then...
No, you're right. Losing the same way. Mike,
it was the same type of game.
No, here's the thing. You could have said the same thing about Scotty Hazelton. You lost to Washington the same way. The same defensive plan.
And my other concern is the injuries. Guys, injuries are real. You don't believe me? Guess what? The Browns season is over. Week 2.
Yeah,
Wrong guy got hurt.
Yeah, you kind of led a charmed life last year where there was no catastrophic injuries. You had people who were out for a game or two or questionable. We would find out on Friday if they practiced. But yeah, this year the injury bugs hit, and there's no excuse. I don't want to hear about it because everybody goes through it. Because if you're going to sit here and say, well, Kansas City, why you didn't have your players, that's not our fault. You can't sit here and say, well, we're losing games because we don't have all of our players.
You believe they're paying Khalif Raymond $8.5 million?
They just did that, too. They extended him to that.
I got to tell you.
If it wasn't for that, how many touchdowns you get?
The cap table, you can really call this into question if this doesn't get off to a good start. Their expenditures are interesting. Let's go to Paris, 97.1. What's up, Paris? How are you?
I'm well. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Okay, here's my thoughts. I haven't thrown in the towel, but his decision-making Dan Campbell is definitely questionable. I was at the Kansas City game, and when he caught that pass on 4th and 2, I was like, oh, my freaking God, what are we doing? I knew that play wasn't going to be successful. I thought it was a horrible decision because Goff is not a scrambler. He's got, in my opinion, slow feet. So I was like, I knew that play was cooked. Now, fast forward to Sunday. I wasn't watching the game. I was listening to it in my car. And I'm like, dang, what the frick are we doing?
Whoa, hey now. You know what? Paris got comfortable.
Paris got really comfortable.
That went 0 to 60.
What the heck?
Paris,
are we
if you're
doing?
still listening, I'd like to say to you, I probably uttered the same words at my TV.
Right.
Watching 4th and 2 on our own 44, up 21-17.
And
in fact, it was verbatim.
And Paris, if you're listening, good thing you didn't watch the game against Kansas City because you would have saw how Goff could have just ran, even with his slow feet, and picked up a first down instead of throwing the ball.
We were all Paris on that play.
All right.
He's speaking for Lions fans.
It looked like three guys just hit a big Jeopardy button back here and out there.
You got to protect the orb. Got to protect the orb, man. David, may I go back to the people? That was tremendous. Chris, 97.1. What's up, Chris?
Hey, fellas. First, Paris is a legend. All right.
Yeah.
To her.
Paris, you are welcome to call this show anytime you want.
Anytime. So my concern level is a great topic. I'm at like a 6.5. I'm kind of with Rico, but for different reasons. First, I have two concerns. First is Goff. Second is the coaching staff. Goff is just too consistently inconsistent on the road. Last I checked, half of our games are on the road. Those are all going to matter. It showed up in Kansas City, particularly on that third down that he threw to Josh Reynolds. Amon-Ra St. Brown, wide open down the seam. He's not aggressive. And it bit us. I think Goff cost us the game on Sunday. Not just the pick six, which, woof, but on that final drive, after the Khalif Raymond reverse, the next two plays, Goff is looking to throw the out to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Why? I don't know. It's not there. Check down. Next play, he just flat misses on 2nd and 7, hits Amon-Ra in the feet. And at that point, the drive is over. At that point, you know, even if you go for the first down, you're risking giving the ball back to Seattle. I mean, it's just Goff's not the guy. And I like Goff. He's money at home, but he's not aggressive or creative in the big moments. And
listen,
we're going to be in a lot of those big moments.
Here's what he is. I cannot argue. He doesn't play well outdoors or in the cold or late season. Luckily, believe it or not, a vast majority of your non-home games are actually inside too. You have to get comfortable knowing you have to insulate this guy. It's part of the reason why they pay the O-line what they pay. It's part of the reason why they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. Chris, I'm with you. If you're looking to have this superstar quarterback, that's not Goff. The only defense I offered of Goff is in the NFC, how many quarterbacks are objectively, just no doubt, no argument, better than Goff over the last year and a half? It's really Jalen Hurts and no one else.
Yeah.
So, Chris, we're in a rock and a hard place here now. Because if you get rid of the guy.
I bring in my second concern. I think you're kind of leading into it.
Sure.
I think insulating Goff, you need the coaching decision. You need a coaching staff to put players in the right position. And I think this coaching staff, honestly, they're just really stubborn. They get their ideas about a player they like or they don't like, and they stick to it no matter what, even if it costs the team. Charles Harris, this coaching staff has just bought in on this guy. He doesn't really produce.
He doesn't do anything.
Produced in 2 years. Josh Paschal goes down on Saturday. Josh Paschal's an interior pass rusher, right? That's his role. He kind of plays the edge, but he's an interior pass rusher. He goes down on practice. At that point, you need to activate Isaiah Buggs or Broderick Martin, but they got it in their head that those guys suck, right? Maybe they do, but you leave Aleem McNeil and Benito Jones in for the whole game, and then we wonder why they can't get a pass rush in the fourth quarter. They played 50 snaps. At 330 pounds, they're gassed, right? That's on the coach. That's on the coach's stats. That's a personnel decision that they made that cost us that interior pass rush. The defense played well for 3 quarters, ran out of gas because they didn't have the depth in the interior. And they had guys who were healthy scratches sitting on the bench. So that's the other concern I have. With these injuries, are they going to eat their humble pie, activate bugs, or go find a guy?
Well,
and,
let me ask you a question. Actually, Chris, I'm way over time, and I apologize. I'll answer what I was going to ask you momentarily. NFL, start the week right. No sweat, same game parlay, Thursday Night Football. What does it mean? 3-leg, same game parlay, Giants, Niners. It'll be the only entertaining way to watch the game. Giants are going to get murdered.
It'll be fun.
NFL same game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday.
Christian McCaffrey touchdown.
Sure. I all the touchdowns. FanDuel.com/ticket. Don't miss out on your chance to get a no sweat same game parlay. America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, the official betting partner of the NFL. 21 and up, present Michigan. Refund issued, non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund, $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms, sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-270-7117.
The C.J. Gardner-Johnson possibly being out for the year, that I told you yesterday, I was maybe on the ledge. I'm on the ledge now and it's not just that injury, but that kind of put it over the top. I mean, Sunday's loss was one thing. It's the loss of bodies at this point. I mean, attrition is part of the NFL, but my God, I feel like I can't remember a week where they lost this many players and this many starters, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Decker was already out, but
Dan Campbell said this morning, he's like, we're gonna be thin. And then he pointed out we were kind of like that last year to start the season too. And I was thinking, and went 1-6 for the start. Let's not have a repeat.
Yeah, I mean it ain't great, but this is the NFL, man. I've said for like the last half a decade, attrition's such a big part of this game, and you've got to have as much depth as possible. We believed in the depth prior to the year. So the question becomes, do you still believe in the depth?
All right, we'll get back to your calls momentarily, but we do this, and it's tongue-in-cheek. I call it a hostage situation. Rico calls it the Big Ten Power Rank. My general disposition on the Big Ten for clarity.
All
right, here we go.
You know what, Mike? Here's the deal.
Yes.
I was doing the power rankings, and when I realized that even after the loss to Washington, Michigan State was still 8th on my power rankings.
Oh, no.
We said we got to move on. David, I give you the top 10.
Wait, so Rico's finally
if
come
you
to
wanna
my
know,
side
here,
on this.
14 Northwestern, 13 Indiana, 12 Nebraska, 11 Illinois, 10 Purdue, 9 Rutgers, 8 MSU, 7 Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, Iowa, OSU, U of M, Penn State.
I still would put MSU probably 12th based on.
I wanted to.
Oh.
And I couldn't because it is so far. Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
So this is America's top 10.
America's top 10, at least according to me. At number 10, want to take a guess?
No, I just prefer to hear it.
Bo Nix, the Oregon Ducks. Oregon coming off of a 55-10 victory over Hawaii. They got Coach Prime in Colorado this weekend. At 9,
well,
go ahead.
No, we're not going to tell people why. What are you just reading? Is that the segment? We're just going to do a cue card?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Over to Phil. Back to Raquel.
Go ahead.
No, at least we know Oregon has gone on the road. Difficult place to play down at Texas Tech and got to win. Mm-hmm. This week, here's the deal. You want to show me you're legit. You launch Dion into the sun, preferably by north of 21 points. Quack, quack. You're at home. End this charade, please.
At number 9, and this team has a chance to rise a lot higher next week because they're traveling to Notre Dame, the Ohio State.
See, I like this. I like that you're willing to rank teams and not just go along with the whole think tank. Mm-hmm. OSU has not looked like a top 5 team. Mm-mm. So therefore, I think it's totally legitimate to put them 9. Major question at quarterback. I still question. We talk in Detroit about Dan Campbell's decision-making. When are we going to talk about Ryan Day's? I mean, the statistics on Ryan Day in 3rd and short, 4th and short, the play calls, lack of success. He's got a weird obsession about wanting to run the ball. And it's like, Ryan, then you have to recruit a team that does that.
Right.
I am with you. They would be in my top 10, but barely. Mainly because really there aren't that many good teams in America.
At number 8, the team that they're playing. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. They just had the 41-17 victory over Central Michigan.
They remind me a lot of Michigan. Physical. They're going to line up and smash. And all summer you read about it. Marcus Freeman was getting this team to build an edge. And when they play, look, they went on the road to NC State. I'm not telling you NC State's a world beater.
Right.
But I've seen them go on the road, sold out crowd, and they gutted that team in crunch time. Notre Dame now has OSU coming to town, and to me, Notre Dame is the best facsimile of U of M in America. So how that game goes, I think gives us a window into how OSU Michigan's going to go. And if OSU wilts, can't hold their water, Michigan will roll them again.
Funny you mentioned Michigan, Mike, because at 7, the University of Michigan. You played 3 non-conference games.
And you looked like ass in all of them.
Yeah.
Sorry. Plus, are we allowed to have a conversation about J.J. McCarthy? How do you throw 3 picks against Bowling Green? Look, we know you're good. You might be great. But when you don't play anyone and then you don't look good playing them, this is how the poll should go, David. This is how it should be in real life.
No, I agree with your placement because we've shown to be a little bit better than Ohio State right now and Notre Dame, but we're not better to be in the top 5.
Right.
Haven't shown that.
So, yeah, I have them at 7. I know your ticket techs are about to blow up.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're not saying they're bad.
No.
And I think Michigan has the highest upside on the list. If Michigan wins all their games, they'll end up in the playoff. They'll end up Big Ten champions. And it won't matter what they were ranked on September 19th.
See, I think a lot of that depends on what Ohio State does because There's going to be a lot of teams, Mike, vying for those 4 chairs.
I was only going to be upset if you put Alabama ahead of Michigan.
No.
Then I would have laughed in your face. Go ahead.
Spoiler alert, Alabama is not in the top 10.
Don't deserve to be.
At number 6 is Penn State. Penn State just beat Illinois 30-13. They did beat West Virginia, a Power 5 school, though it was at home. I think I look at that victory as more impressive than what Michigan has gone through. So right now, I have Penn State a little bit higher than Michigan.
Need more from Drew Aller. The defense is real. That's one of the 5 best defenses in America, but I need more from Aller. And again, got away with several turnover-worthy throws at Illinois. They could rise, but again, the quarterback is what concerns me.
At number 5, probably, a team that most people finally saw for the first time this year, if you watched the game in East Lansing, the University of Washington, led by Michael Penix, who I think is going to win the Heisman Trophy.
It's really an unstoppable offense. Kalen DeBoer, the scheme, an NFL QB, first-round pick QB, 3 NFL receivers. My fear, I got to see that defense against someone real. Boise State's offense was a train wreck with a new OC. MSU was a train wreck. But I'm fine with it because the Pac-12 is loaded. I can't believe I'm saying it. They're loaded.
At number 4, the University of Georgia. Georgia.
Look at Kenny's look on his face. Hey, don't be losing at halftime to South Carolina.
It's laughable.
Why is it laughable?
First of all, if they would have made some kicks, maybe that game would have looked a little
bit.
Ifs
Ifs and buts, candy and nuts.
If I would have had 6 numbers in the Powerball, I wouldn't be here right now.
Bored, just like they were bored last year.
Don't do that. God, that's such
What do you want?
Such a lazy take,
Kenny.
Man.
It's not lazy. It's the truth.
Hold on. So you expect
you guys
Rico,
have been saying that for weeks.
Stop
Don't call me lazy.
Hold on. So Rico's supposed to rank your team with a boredom quotient?
Yes, absolutely. When you win back-to-back titles.
All right. Well, then you know what? Call the Feinbaum show. Right. Talk to Dale in Huntsville.
Bored. Most of these kids were not playing when they were winning back-to-back national championships. How they're bored.
Kenny, they don't look like the number 1 team in the nation. Plain and simple. They came back. They beat a conference team, an SEC team in South Carolina, so I give them credit for that. That's the only reason why they're ranked higher than Washington is because they played a better team than Washington
Number 3.
And number 3 is USC coming off their bye week last week, led by Caleb Williams. I think them and Washington, in my opinion, are on a collision course. I can't wait for that game to happen.
I think USC's the first mistake you've made, but I'll let it go.
Too high?
Their defense is ass.
Yeah, but Mike, they're like
ass.
I said,
ass.
All right. At number 2, even though they just played a close game against Boston College, I have the Florida State Seminoles.
Ultimate look-ahead spot. They had Clemson on the road, and it was hurricane force winds. It was wild. Now, there's still no excuse to be in that type of spot against BC, the Fighting Halfleys. But it's going to happen to everybody. It happened to Georgia at Mizzou last year. It happens. I give them a one-time freebie because unlike Georgia, they've actually played somebody.
And that's just it. And at number 1, Texas is back. The University of Texas, fresh off of their win, over Wyoming, 31-10. They look like the best team as of right now.
And the biggest thing, they win up front. It's the best O-line, D-line combo Texas has had in a decade. Weapons outside. Kenny knows about A.D. Mitchell. Xavier Worthy might be the best receiver in the country. Ewers looks legit. It's a team. It's built right. Can they not go full Texas? We'll find out. But yeah, to me, you went to Tuscaloosa and de-pants Saban.
So where should USC? What would you have had?
I would have flipped them in Washington. I would have just made Washington. But again, minor quibble. Gotcha. You need to talk to your boy over there.
Well, I knew he was going to be upset. At least David took it like a man. I knew Kenny would be pouting and crying.
Okay,
You're
fair.
number 1 too, Kenny.
Wow.
That
was excellent. That's what a power rank's supposed to be. Not ranking the dirty diapers in the Big Ten.
97-1.
I'd prefer to not be here right now. Welcome in. People, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our expectations, but that's where I'm at. It's a beautiful day here in Detroit. It's a beautiful life. But I have to tell you, I have to lower my expectations for this team because they're not ready for it. They're not ready to deliver on what I thought they were ready to deliver on because yesterday was unforgivable. That was as rat-ass, sloppy, nonsense a performance as you're going to see. 10 days rest, coming home, a team coming to town who has no playmakers up front and has street free agents at both tackle spots. You hit the quarterback one time. This team went out and made mistakes that they just don't make. And whether it's, I got a real problem with one of the fourth downs, but that's fine. The fumble to come out of the half, to flip the game on its ear. This defense on third down, able to do nothing. Nothing. And Rico's BFF, Geno Smith, beats us again.
David has told me, before we get back to the people, we have a situation behind the glass. Odyssey.com rewind if you missed anything. We did open up with Mel Tucker's lawyer going full lawyer. And really, if you're a State fan, what do you have left in the gas tank at this point? I mean, just overall. And it's really just apathy for me. I mean, I'm disgusted with Tucker, and I hope he gets what's coming to him by way of nothing. But the school itself, no president, don't have a strong AD, no belief they'll get the coaching search right. Kind of feels like Apple Orchard Saturdays. But, David, you're telling me we have a situation behind the glass? Kenny, yes?
Yeah, Kenny's he's not too happy with your rankings in Georgia.
Oh, no,
Rico.
come on. All right, hold on. Well, then let the man speak. Okay. It's his radio.
I would have put him at 2, not 4. All right. I think the two teams that you have. And by the way, for relevancy's sake, you said Texas, they beat Alabama. It's all because of it's a power rank, right? Mm-hmm. Who's doing better right here, right now? Texas, no problem at number 1, zero issue. Okay. SC, Florida State, problem. Who is Florida State looking bad against, and where's SC's defense? At least Georgia looked bad against an SEC team now.
Okay, but. Yeah, Florida State beat an SEC team.
Congratulations.
They destroyed an SEC team.
What does it matter?
Well, you're talking about, okay, congratulations. You beat South Carolina. They destroyed LSU. Are you serious right now?
Also, my head coach does not need a legal team like yours does.
Oh, no. Oh, jeez. Come on. I mean, we're emotional right now. I mean, too soon, Kenneth.
It'll be real interesting to see what happens when Georgia beats the powerhouse of UAB this weekend, where they fall in your power ranks.
Yeah, hey, Kenny, you're laughing. guess where Mel Tucker will probably end up on the staff? At Georgia.
Don't make me say it.
At Georgia.
All right.
Okay. That's fine.
Kenny.
No, it's not. I don't think you want to employ that man.
It's not.
You haven't played anybody, and the South Carolina game didn't look that great. You won.
Can I say
you're 4?
Can I say this? Because Kenny, this is good that he's bringing this up, because in a lot of ways, whether it's Georgia or U of M, it's the same thing. And here's what I mean by it. I don't know what I'm supposed to take out of their games. Now, Kenny made a point. If Kenny wants to say his team is bored, he's earned the right. They've won 2 straight national titles. But if you're a Michigan fan, you don't get to say that, because you've embarrassed yourself in the playoff back-to-back years. If you're a Michigan fan, where are you with this team? And look, I'm openly telling you I don't know. I still believe the Big Ten goes to Ann Arbor. I still refuse to back a James Franklin coach team. And I think the shoe polish in Ryan Day's beard has gone to his brain. So, yes, I still think you're the best in the Big Ten, but That doesn't mean a hill of beans about you doing anything other than bleeping yourself when you get to the playoff again. I want to know where you're at. Like, I watched the Bowling Green game. JJ throws 3 picks. It's 7-6 in the middle of the second quarter. It's, 14-6 or whatever at the half. I'm going, what am I supposed to take from this?
Yeah.
There have been stretches against these 3 teams where they don't look good running it. You had JJ against ECU go, 26-28 or whatever it is. Who cares? You may as well show up at the Cott family picnic. You'll complete 26 of 28. I want to know from Wolverine fans, because in a lot of ways, look, Kenny's upset going, you're not respecting my team. My answer to Kenny would be, you're not respecting yourself. You're not playing anybody. You look like you're on Quaaludes, and I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So now in fairness to Kenny's team, they played what I think is a bowl caliber conference opponent in South Carolina. And while losing at the half, stormed back and won it by double digits. I can at least say, okay, there's a floor. Is Rutgers a bowl team? No. Are any of the 3 teams they've played to start this year? Absolutely not. So what I guess I would ask Michigan fan is, what would you like me to say about your team? Tell me. Because I don't know what any of us are learning.
I don't. And it's just that. It's like, I think you'll probably end up being the best team, because I think Penn State will fade in November, but I don't take anything away from this game, because at least if you're that good, and Kenny, this is why your team is 4th in my power ranking, you should look like you're the best.
Are you ready for this? Hot take or real? I'm asking the gallery. Michigan will not face a bowl team in the next 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Rutgers, not a bowl team. Nebraska, not a bowl team. Minnesota's very iffy. If you want to say yes, I'm okay with that. Indiana, no. MSU, no. Purdue, no. That takes you to November, what is it, the Penn State game?
Yeah. Was it November
11th?
11th? Yeah.
So you could potentially face no bowl now again.
Which means you'll be bored until November 11th.
And my problem is, I don't know what Rico is supposed to say. I don't know what I'm supposed to tell you. I know the Big Ten's very bad.
Well, here's the thing. If I see the amount of effort like I saw out of the Washington Huskies, okay, you know what? We're playing bad teams, and we're going to show you we're dominant. We are so much better than you. This will not even remotely be a game.
Right. They gutted Boise, and they gutted State.
Right.
They went on the road. At least they've done a couple of things.
I don't get that from the Michigan games where, yeah, you're winning, but you pull away in the 4th quarter and you do something. It's like, I don't see the dominance that I was expecting out of Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards and that tandem in the running backs. It's like, I'm not seeing it. And Mike, I told you, for the listeners, I get out, I'm leaving the Spartan Stadium and I'm talking to Mike and I'm like, well, what's the deal with the Michigan score? Is JJ in concussion protocol? Like, is he not in the game? And he's like, no, he just sucks tonight.
I mean, it's kind of true. So David, you're a Michigan fan. The first thing people say is, oh, Sparty. No, F that. Because I believed in your team when none of you did 2 years ago going to Columbus. I picked you to win the damn game. Money line, no points. Took TJ's money. Don't play that with me. But this schedule is an embarrassment. The way you're playing is uninspiring. Kenny's upset about his team. I guess to me, Georgia and Michigan are kind of the same thing in that haven't played anybody. At least Georgia's played a conference opponent that'll make a bowl, and Georgia's got the national titles and the right to say maybe they're bored. You don't. David,
no, not
where are
at
you?
all. And I'm tired of hearing that message coming out of Ann Arbor that they may be bored and it may be that. I don't care, because here's my thing as a Michigan fan. No game, you're not going to play a game that's going to be perfect. Not everything is going to go absolutely 100% right. But what I want to see is dominance against the teams that we're playing. And I have not seen the dominance, let alone the last game where we're throwing 3 interceptions in the first half. What are we doing?
David,
I
ECU,
need to see it.
UNLV, like, these are bad teams, and you can only play the teams on your schedule. But yeah, the game should be over at halftime. The team, hey, if you guys want table scraps, we're not even going to put our starters back in. You can fight it out with our third string and make it look good, but you should go into halftime up 35, 40 points knowing, yeah, this team had no shot. Now, I don't get that. It's difficult for me to really take anything away from what you're doing. So I can't say if you're really good. I don't know. I don't know.
And I also don't want to hear from Michigan fans saying, well, Harbaugh's been suspended. He's been coaching every week but Saturday. So that's not the reason why you're not dominating. That's not the reason why you're not scoring. What are you doing?
The other thing is I'll still rank them the best team in the Big Ten, but that ain't got nothing to do with your goals. Blake Corum said it's natty or bust. Well, here right now, I'll tell you one thing. Go on the same field as Texas. They bust your ass.
Florida State.
I still would take Florida State.
Yeah.
Because at least there's a burden of proof here for U of M. And if the schedule's bad, you still have to look impressive. I can't say the way they've played has been impressive. Oh, we had a weakling call up and then hang up. Oh, Sam, it's probably best for you hung up. Stop bashing Michigan.
I really
no
want
one
to hear what
bashed
Sam
him.
had to say.
No one bashed Michigan.
How did you bash Michigan by saying you can't take anything away from their games? They're probably the best team in the Big Ten, but I don't know what I'm looking at. That's not bashing Michigan.
My whole point is I'm grading you out against the teams I think you're going to face in the playoff.
Right. That if I put you and said right here, right now on a neutral field, are you beating this team? Are you beating Texas? I don't think so. Are you beating Florida State? I don't think so. Are you beating USC? I don't think so.
I do. I think USC's a fraud. I know that's a hot take, but I've held it all summer.
You know, Georgia. No, I don't think you're beating them. I don't think you're beating Washington. But you got an opportunity.
Now, maybe Michigan turns into a transformer when they play Penn State, and you go, okay, this is real. But see, this is part of the problem I have with the sport at large. Nobody plays anybody anymore. And it's like, I've also said this, and I know. I feel bad if you're a ticket holder. Because, like, that game Saturday night, Bowling Green.
You gave those tickets away.
You donate them to the Boys and Girls Club.
Now, here's the beauty of it. Here's the beauty of it. When the other teams come into conference, now your schedule is going to get better. So you got held hostage the last 2 years to keep your seats for next year and on. They should give you a discount, but nobody ever gives you a discount.
Hit them.
Ever. Let's talk about the Chevy dealer in the area that's been leading the way. It's Hamilton Chevrolet in Warren. Andrew Pavlik, he's a huge Wolverine supporter, and the sales staff want to be your Chevy dealer. They'll guarantee you the lowest payment on your next Chevy, period. Andrew also welcomes Kevin Morrison to the Hamilton sales staff. All September long, Hamilton Chevrolet is participating in Step Up for Kids. It's a shoe donation drive to support underprivileged kids right here in our local community. Stop in, drop off new shoes for kids ages 4 through 18. And while you're there, check out this month's Rico deal, a new 2024 Chevy Equinox LT for $309 a month for 27 months. You walk in with $995 down and some pairs of shoes for the kids, and you get 10,000 miles a year when you drive away. You know what I say, the best deals are found at 14 Mile and Mound. Stop in and see my guys at Hamilton Chevrolet. Participate in the Step Up for Kids shoe donation drive. And by the way, you can visit the website, HamiltonChevy.com. That's HamiltonChevy.com. Chevrolet, find new roads.
the CJ Gardner-Johnson possibly being out for the year, that I told you yesterday, I was maybe on the ledge. I'm on the ledge now and it's not just that injury, but that kind of put it over the top. I mean, Sunday's loss was one thing. It's the loss of bodies at this point. I mean, attrition is part of the NFL, but my God, I feel like I can't remember a week where they lost this many players and this many starters, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Decker was already out, but
Dan Campbell said this morning, he's like, yeah, we're gonna be thin. And then he pointed out we were kind of like that last year to start the season too. And I was thinking, yeah, and went 1-6 for the start. Let's not have a repeat.
Yeah, I mean it ain't great, but this is the NFL, man. I've said for like the last half a decade, attrition's such a big part of this game. And you've got to have as much depth as possible. We believed in the depth prior to the year. So the question becomes, do you still believe in the depth?
Hi, Rico. Headed to Vegas, go to La D Las Vegas, located downtown. Ton of action, revitalized and bookended by their sister resort, Circa Hotel and Casino. Either way, you have a hell of a good time. Going out for a football weekend. We're talking a little college ball right now. Nothing better than the 9 a.m. Saturday kickoff at a sports book. Yikes. Tough. The point is, you'll have a great time at either place. Go to D.com to book your stay today. The D.com, the D Las Vegas. It's your home for sports in Vegas. Straight to the people. A little bit of Lions in the mix. What's your concern? CJ Gardner-Johnson is out for the year. The injuries are mounting. This Atlanta game looks tough. Short turn to Green Bay. And for Michigan fans, just kind of where you're at. Like, what do we take out of what you've done so far? And again, you play who's on the schedule. But just like Georgia, your schedule's embarrassing. I don't know what to do with your team. So both are in the mix.
I don't either, Mike. I did a pod.
Quit bashing Michigan.
You know what?
Sparty.
No, I did a pod, and I got a mutual friend of ours, Tom Crawford. He joined me. He's feeling the same way, and he's been covering Michigan for 22 years. He doesn't know.
I don't know how you can. Go to Terry, 97.1. What's up, T?
Hi, how you guys doing?
Good, Terry. What's on your mind?
You know, my worry is 3 out of 10 because of the injuries, but I don't know what kind of offense everyone is looking at. We can all agree our offense hasn't hit full stride yet. And we had a pretty darn good game. I mean, for about 425 yards on offense, 80% completion percentage for Goff. It was the turnovers that killed us. And that last drive before overtime, we had to go in the end zone. We had to throw it at least once or twice, at least try to get the touchdown.
I agree. Here's my problem. 2 notes. For a team that has an elite offensive line and has spent an immense amount of capital on running backs, no explosives in the ground game. And then when we look at the passing game, Terry, Jared Goff will not take shots. And if in today's NFL, if you don't have explosives, I don't know if you're going to unlock that last piece to the offense. That is what concerns me, Terry.
No, I hear you. We have a tough stretch. I think even if we're 3-4 heading into that Vegas Monday night game, I think the rest of the schedule sets up well. And that's assuming that Jameson is a non-factor. I mean, if the 10% chance that Jameson is, a good factor, I think it's going to set us up well. We'll get some people back from injury. We've had devastating injuries, but across the NFL this year, it's a bad year for injuries. But, the defense, unlike last year, at the beginning of last year, our defense is slightly below average. It's not horrible.
But you know what? That's the problem I have there. Because let me say this. Look, I don't think they spent money and draft picks and capital to be slightly below average. See, when we talk about it, you're paying Romeo Okwara the money you're paying him. You're paying Tracy Walker a lot of money. He don't even start for you. He played like 9 snaps Sunday. Gardner Johnson was paid a lot of money. Brought in, he's hurt. Charles Harris makes a lot of money. He don't do nothing. There's a lot of these defensive players that were or can still be difference makers. It's just through 2 weeks, I'm worried about the pass rush. Your linebackers got roasted in coverage on Sunday. And then from a game plan standpoint, for a team that wants to be aggressive, that defensive game plan was as passive as it gets.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about below average. If we're talking about winning the division and being a factor, no, I want this defense to be above average.
Right. Because you're right. I mean, this, once again, it goes to you want to try to secure as many home field games in the playoffs as you could possibly get, not just kind of, backdoor your way into wild card weekend. I mean, that's a step up, but that's not the end goal.
Jacob, 97.1. What's up, Jake?
Hey, not much. I called you on Friday. I was the guy that was having a miserable weekend in Seattle country out here, and because I was having that viewer party. And
oh no!
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be a great
party. You made
party.
me feel really good about it too, dude. Like I had hope. I had hope, and I shouldn't have had hope, but I had a little bit of it.
Yeah, but then Jacob, what was I supposed to do? Dash your hope? Tell you it was going to be a horrible experience? I thought you were going to win. No. I feel terrible.
No, I did too, and it wasn't your fault. You know what? I think that the Lions win 8 out of 10 of those games if we don't have a turnover. Or not a turnover, but 3-0. That's the biggest point there. And then you're absolutely right about the defense, Mike. Like, you're spending all this money, and what the heck is what's his name doing on the outside at corner? Why don't you use Brian Branch at the outside at corner once you just see him getting torn up?
Oh, we talking Jerry Jacobs? Well, I mean, for one, Jerry Jacobs, if he's going to play, needs to be asked to press people and not lay off. He's a physical corner. But Jacobs is clearly the target of both the Chiefs and Seattle, and it'll be of Atlanta.
We have a common denominator here, don't we, Bob?
Yes, because you need Mosley in the lineup. Yeah. Another guy you paid money to. Do. You need him. You need him healthy.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry about your party.
Yeah.
It's all good, dude.
No, I
let you just kick everybody out.
I mean, yeah, Jake, take us through it. So, the game ends. Did you just say everyone kindly leave?
Just pull a Martin Lawrence, open the door, and get to stepping.
I wasn't gonna be a Debbie Downer. I was pretty miserable on Saturday because I'm a Michigan State fan, and we had one then, and then we had one on Sunday.
Wow, dear God! You know what?
Took 2 kicks.
You should have turned into Frank Lucas, slammed somebody's head in the piano, and yelled, "That's $25,000 alpaca!"
I was thinking in the back of my head, I was like, "Why did you give me hope, Mike?
Jacob, we owe you some pizza gift certificates. I'm sorry, Jesus." But that's my whole point. If you're a Spartan fan and a Lion fan, sports.
No.
Why?
Here's the thing. He's the worst case because he's in Seattle and 2 Seattle teams came here and won. Woo! And you held 2 parties. Wow.
He should have gone Frank Lucas.
Just 1 kick, and then tomorrow we'll kick you again.
Man, take those sunglasses off. That poor man. We got to do something for
We
Jake.
do.
I told him he was going to be the belle of the ball. I thought,
we do. We got to get his info next time he calls. Wow. Yeah.
We'll find a pizza place in Seattle for him or something. I feel awful. This is what I mean, though. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, for the average fan, they just view him as a whatever. We signed an Eagle and he's a good player. That's a heartbeat player. Mm-hmm. That's a leader of the locker room player. That's a chess piece on defense, a physical presence in run support from the safety spot. He's gone. Yeah. I mean, Campbell can get up on these airwaves all he wants. If he tore his pec, he ain't coming back. Mm-mm. And now, that's why we have Tracy Walker here. If Tracy Walker were so GD sexy, why did you sign a player to take his job?
Mm-mm. And draft Branch.
Hello. I mean, where is it? There you go. So no, that's the problem. And the defensive line, look, if you lose Houston, you're supposed to be able to say, well, hey, we have Charles Harris. Instead of, we have Charles Harris. He hasn't done anything.
No, it's not like it was.
I mean, by all accounts, he's a very nice man and a veteran president. He's not good at football.
Too bad it wasn't anybody in the draft this year. Forward on the field. Oh, by the way, Gov sent us video footage of the fact that the fans love that song. He recorded them singing it, and you saw the entire place.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I didn't send it to you yet. I will.
No, please don't.
David got it.
Yes, he sent it. Yes, that's all I'm going to say.
You know what? Just read something. Let's just take a break.
Wow. All right, Hungry Howie's celebrating 50 years of flavor. That's 50 years creating delicious pizza. And you think after 50 years, they would have thought of everything. Nope. They got new items all the time, including right now the Bee Sting Pizza, hot honey drizzle, 2 toppings of your choice, $12.99. They use real mods. They use real toppings. They make dough in-house daily. What else?
Wisconsin cheese?
No Wisconsin block. That's not a thing. No cheese. It's not a thing. It's nonsense. No one should put that on a pizza. I digress. It's Hungry Howie's. Try it today. Have some sad pizza when State gets bombed by a turtle Saturday.
Wah, wah. Hey, Little Tua, shout out.
Limited time only. It's Hungry Howie's.
This was such I don't think we overplayed how hyped this game was for fans as a season opener, coming off a victory over the defending Super Bowl champs.
The building was a lot.
Standing room only. Everyone talked about how loud it was. The players, the coaches, media, everything. And I expected a good team, which I still think the Lions can be a good team, by the way, because it's only 2 games in the year. But you win this game. We all said it. You go out and win this game. And to let down the fans, including myself, because I'm a fan, it's just so deflating that they lost this game.
It was exactly deflating. All the energy that came in from, the place was amazing yesterday. Everybody was in their seat like at least 5 minutes before kickoff, which never happens. People filter in a little bit later. Everyone was already there.
I heard they opened the doors even earlier than usual.
They did. And it was so loud before the first snap of the game. I'm like, wow, this place is crazy loud right now. And an 8-minute drive to start the game by Seattle just totally put a pin in it. And, the Lions, they struggled. And then finally they start, doing their thing offensively. And Goff looked fantastic. But it was deflating.
David, the ticket text straight to the people. Got football today coming up. A little weekend report for everybody. And a magic trick. How a once all-world quarterback turned into, well, straight butt overnight. We'll talk about it. David, what do you got?
Compare Michigan's performance against Bowling Green with Washington's performance against Michigan State. Enough said. That is from Jerry. I definitely want to see some dominance from Michigan. Thoughts on Michigan taking it easy, though, to avoid injuries, especially for Corum?
Yeah, the problem is the guy who was supposed to revolutionize the sport of football is averaging 3 yards a carry.
And I don't
How
know if
can
they
he
were,
be bored? He's supposed to be changing it.
I don't know if they were taking it easy on Corum. I think Corum was struggling to get yards because he's trying to be relevant, because I think at least early on, these are the games that you need to get into the Heisman talk. You pad the stats and you go out for 150, 200 yards in the games, and you're not getting anywhere close to that.
From Jeff in the car, he says, it doesn't matter what we think about our team because all that matters is that we're winning these games.
Signed, Bo from his grave. Yeah, here's the deal. It does matter. That's why we watch sports. If it's play no one, win games, that's fine. But when your own team said it's natty or bust and you have a Georgia countdown clock, guys, you raise the standard a little bit. I mean, I don't know what else to say. But then again, I'm sure you would treat it the same way if OSU were doing the same thing. Well, you know, guys, let's respect them. They're winning games.
Yeah, you should be sending a message to the world saying, here we are, we're ready for you.
I beat people 60-0.
As a Michigan fan, I can't stand their schedule. It's not worth watching. No fun at all. They need to change it or lose fans. From William.
But see, William, it's not even about the schedule. Okay, the teams are there. You can't change that. But you could go out there and just look dominant. There was never you shouldn't be going in at halftime, having to score on that final drive to make it look 14-6. That's not. It should be 40-6 at halftime.
The hell? Washington did that to us.
Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, you know what? It's only 28-0.
Oh, the fake Neil or
35-0 looks
I'm
better
not
than
mad
28-0.
at it.
No,
See,
I'm
I
not
never get
either.
mad at it.
But that's what you do as a dominant team.
Go to Mike, 97.1. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey. Good, Mike.
Good. Hey, at the beginning before the season started, my boys was like, well, Lions will probably be 12-5, 11-6. I told them, I said, so you telling me they're only going to lose 2 or 3 games? And they was like, the math don't add up. And I said, because Campbell's going to lose by himself 2 or 3 games alone. So basically, you're telling me the Lions, the team, is only going to lose 2 or 3 games.
If Dan Campbell costs this team 3 games, he should be removed as head coach. Now,
Well, that was my next question.
Okay.
We ran Caldwell out in 4 seasons. So how many years do we give this guy before we realize he's not the right fit?
I will tell you right now,
plays.
if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, I'd want him gone. I don't play around.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's just me. This is a really good football team that has a couple of elite advantages. Mike, if this gets off the rails and they didn't make the playoffs, I'd tell you look to make a change. Now, they won't, but you asked me the question, I will answer.
Right, I asked you.
And again, if they get off to another slow... Now, see, let me say this, Mike. If they get off to another slow start, and let's say they're 3-5 through the first, 8 weeks of the year, well, that's a coach who would then possess a 4-20 record as head coach in September and October. Yeah. As Lions coach. It's unacceptable.
No. Now we're going back to the Wayne Fonts years where you got to go on these miraculous runs at the end of every season.
And let me be clear. I'm not saying it's going off the rails. I'm saying I'm concerned because I thought he screwed up the end of this game. The whole Maverick the Gambler reset, I have to get comfortable with it because it's who he is, and we're using win probability. But it's the injuries, and I should have known better all summer. But they're so thin at receiver. Amon-Ra is so good, but outside of him, man, look at what's really out there. How have they not brought someone in? I mean, knowing J-Mo wasn't going to be around. I said it all summer, bring somebody in.
No, but I think they believe in the Khalif Raymonds of the world. Well,
they better for the money they paid him. Then you better start targeting the young man. I don't need 2 targets a game. Paying a guy $9 million a year. Come on.
I'm all right. I'm with you. And I thought that maybe, we can incorporate Jahmyr Gibbs. But, yeah, St. Brown would lead us. But teams are figuring it out. Either you blanket him or like he got injured. Once you take him away from the equation, and now you don't have Montgomery, who you needed because he controlled the pace of the game. That's gone.
Let's go to Sean, 97.1. What's up, Sean?
What's up, man? How you
What's
doing?
up? How are you, man?
I'm okay. I'm a gravely concerned Michigan fan. I think they're in the process of falling flat on their face here at some point. And for them, unfortunately, that means 10-2, right? Or 10-2, because they really only get one in the 14 playoff format if their goal is a national title. I think their O-line looks completely disinterested, like they've read their press clippings all winter. Donovan Edwards has no motivation, whatever, to try to stretch a 10-yard run into a 15 or 20-yard run. I think their defense looks solid, and we know they have 2 DBs that are yet to return that will make it look even better. So I do feel confident in that side of the ball to keep them in a lot of games. But the whole point of this little experiment with JJ to see if he's really the dude that can drive the team looked great after 2 weeks, and I actually felt okay about it. But, now I'm afraid to watch him throw the football.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my problem is the defense looks good. Can you name an offensive player from the 3 teams you've played?
No, not at all. And listen, that's all with a grain of salt based on who they played. But to be fair, 80% of the Big Ten is going to bring an offense that is comparable to the field. Now, there's obviously tricky spots. They have to go to MSU at night. They have to go to Penn State. Those are all losable games the way they're playing right now. There's no doubt. But a lot of those players shot in big games last year, too. They brought back a lot of guys that have proven it at some point. So I feel like I trust that side of the ball more. But they're identityless, man. They don't have – last year it was ride Corum for 28 carries. He gets better as the game goes on because he wears on you. He's getting the ball 12 times a game. They're trying to find some kind of tent pole, but they have too many mouths to feed, and none of them look like they're ready to break anything big at the moment.
Yeah, and it's tough because, Sean, I'm excited about Saturday and watching Ohio State and Notre Dame, and I do think there's going to be some corollaries we can have here where, look, if Ohio State struggles big time with the physicality of Notre Dame, I think that's a feather in your cap because that shows you they're not any better and you're going to do the same thing to them. But at least there's something I can gather from it.
But if Ohio State goes out there and just gets bombed, that takes away from the credibility of the Big Ten as a whole, I think.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, Sean, go ahead, and then I'll finish talking.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt you guys.
You're good.
If that's going to be a feather in our cap, or if anything is going to be a feather in our cap, we have to decide what kind of team we're going to be. Last year, it was very much committed to we're going to be a running team and let JJ make a play here or there. The problem is every drive they make feels like it has a different goal. Do we want to let JJ show off the stuff? Or is this a Blake Corum drive? And then the next drive, they transition to something else. There's absolutely no continuity. And so
people aren't going to want to hear this, but the best version of you is what you described. Run the ball, shorten the game, hard play action, let JJ make a play or two.
Use the new rule.
The times he's had to throw the ball and be the playmaker, you lose. And he turns
100%.
It over.
Well, and to be fair, if you look at the PFF, which I know not everyone takes a lot of stock in, by metric, he is the best play-action quarterback last year in college football. He is one of the middle-of-the-pack guys, somewhere around 60 when it comes to just a basic drop. So if you're going to be a running team and rely on him to be a great play-action guy, that's an identity. But they're trying to shoehorn in, okay, Donovan Edwards with a trick play. Donovan Edwards, why don't you just make him a receiver and let him run a route? They can be on the field at the same time for the whole game. And it could be a play-action nightmare for teams.
Listen, I totally agree with you. Sean, the chess pieces are there for them to be very dynamic. But the biggest nonsense in all of sports is when fans go, we're saving all our good plays.
Yeah, that
no, you're not. You don't have a treasure trove of sweetness.
Right. You may have 3 or 4 plays that you are saving.
A wrinkle,
plays.
if you will.
Right. But other than that, there's no. But Sean, he brought up a thing, man. Probably the ultimate trap game for Michigan.
What?
between Penn State and Ohio State at Maryland.
No, you're not allowed to do this. You do this every year with that stupid team.
No. I just said a trap game.
No.
Okay, Mike, it could be the West Side Cubs. I'm just saying it's because you're in between Penn State and Ohio State.
Maryland is like prescription drugs to Michael Jackson with you.
Mike.
You just can't. It's almost like you need your own Maryland doctor to hook you up to an IV of Turpin's highlights.
Mike, you're missing the point. I'm looking at the team just in between Penn State and Ohio State.
And Michigan will go down there and beat them by 70 like they do every year.
You know what? Fine.
Maryland, your guy Loxley is a
Mike,
fraud.
it has nothing to do with Maryland. It's just the game. I didn't realize they played a game. Never mind.
Thank you.
You know what? Read something.
Hey, we've got Rico back
something.
from his Detroit Tech Lutheran State high days. Hey, Rico Beard, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Read something so we get yelled at for going too long. Read something.
I don't care. Hey, do you like turtles? No, does your garage floor look bad? Is it dull and gray, cracked and stained, or worse, you got an old epoxy job? In one day, transform your garage to the gold standard. New Comer and Cross premium garage floor. They make it easy. They do everything. They'll move your stuff out, get the job done, and move everything back in just the way you left it. Comer and Cross garage floor is the gold standard, 4 times stronger than epoxy. Guaranteed to not chip, crack, or yellow. Guys, they got you covered. No tire tracks or epoxy fumes. In one day, you're going to love your new garage floor, and it'll last. All you got to do, get your free estimate, 248-266-4443. That's 248-266-4443, or go online to comerandcrossgarage.com. My general disposition on the Big Ten for clarity.
You know,
all right, here we go.
You know what, Mike? Here's the deal.
Yes.
I was doing the power rankings, and when I realized that even after the loss to Washington, Michigan State was still 8th on my power rankings.
Oh, no.
We said we got to move on. David, I give you the top 10.
Wait, so Rico's finally
if
come
you
to
wanna
my
know,
side on this.
14 Northwestern, 13 Indiana, 12 Nebraska, 11 Illinois, 10 Purdue, 9 Rutgers, 8 MSU, 7 Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, Iowa, OSU, U of M, Penn State.
I still would put MSU probably 12th based on.
I wanted to. And I couldn't because it is so far. Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
So this is America's top 10.
America's top 10, at least according to me. At number 10, want to take a guess?
No, I just prefer to hear it.
Bo Nix, the Oregon Ducks. Oregon coming off of a 55-10 victory over Hawaii. They got Coach Prime in Colorado this weekend. At 9,
well,
go ahead.
No, we're not going to tell people why. What are you just reading? Is that the segment? We're just going to do a cue card?
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Over to Phil. Back to Raquel.
Go ahead.
No, like, at least we know Oregon has gone on the road Difficult place to play down at Texas Tech and got to win. This week, here's the deal. You want to show me you're legit. You launch Dion into the sun, preferably by north of 21 points. Quack, quack. You're at home. End this charade, please.
At number 9, and this team has a chance to rise a lot higher next week because they're traveling to Notre Dame, the Ohio State.
See, I like this. I like that you're willing to rank teams and not just go along with the whole think tank. OSU has not looked like a top 5 team. So therefore, I think it's totally legitimate to put them 9. Major question at quarterback. I still question. We talk in Detroit about Dan Campbell's decision-making. When are we going to talk about Ryan Day's? I mean, the statistics on Ryan Day in 3rd and short, 4th and short, the play calls, lack of success. He's got a weird obsession about wanting to run the ball, and it's like, Ryan, then you have to recruit a team that does that.
Right.
I am with you. They would be in my top 10, but barely. Mainly because really there aren't that many good teams in America.
At number 8, the team that they're playing, Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. They just had the 41-17 victory over Central Michigan.
They remind me a lot of Michigan. Physical. They're going to line up and smash. And all summer you read about it. Marcus Freeman was getting this team to build an edge. And when they play, look, they went on the road to NC State. I'm not telling you NC State's a world beater.
Right.
But I've seen them go on the road, sold out crowd, and they gutted that team in crunch time. Notre Dame now has OSU coming to town. And to me, Notre Dame is the best facsimile of U of M in America. So how that game goes, I think gives us a window into how OSU Michigan's going to go. And if OSU wilts, can't hold their water, Michigan will roll them again.
Funny you mentioned Michigan, Mike, because at 7, the University of Michigan. You played 3 non-conference games.
And you looked like ass in all of them.
Yeah.
Sorry. Plus, are we allowed to have a conversation about J.J. McCarthy? How do you throw 3 picks against Bowling Green? Look, we know you're good. You might be great. But when you don't play anyone and then you don't look good playing them, this is how the poll should go, David. This is how it should be in real life.
No, I agree with your placement because we've shown to be a little bit better than Ohio State right now and Notre Dame, but we're not better to be in the top 5.
Right.
Haven't shown that.
So, yeah, I have them at 7. I know your ticket techs are about to blow up.
Yeah, but it doesn't
who cares?
matter. It doesn't matter because you're not saying they're bad.
No.
And I think Michigan has the highest upside on the list. If Michigan wins all their games, they'll end up in the playoff. They'll end up Big Ten champions. And it won't matter what they were ranked on September 19th.
See, I think a lot of that depends on what Ohio State does because there's going to be a lot of teams, Mike, vying for those 4 chairs.
I was only going to be upset if you put Alabama ahead of Michigan.
No.
Then I would have laughed in your face. Go ahead.
Spoiler alert, Alabama is not in the top 10.
Don't deserve to be.
At number 6 is Penn State. Penn State just beat Illinois 30-13. They did beat West Virginia, a Power 5 school, though it was at home. I think I look at that victory as more impressive than what Michigan has gone through. So right now, I have Penn State a little bit higher than Michigan.
Need more from Drew Aller. The defense is real. That's one of the 5 best defenses in America, but I need more from Aller. And again, got away with several turnover-worthy throws at Illinois. They could rise, but again, the quarterback is what concerns me.
At number 5, probably, a team that most people finally saw for the first time this year, if you watched the game in East Lansing, the University of Washington, led by Michael Penix, who I think is going to win the Heisman Trophy.
It's really an unstoppable offense. Kalen DeBoer, the scheme, an NFL QB, first-round pick QB, 3 NFL receivers. My fear, I got to see that defense against someone real. Boise State's offense was a train wreck with the new OC. MSU was a train wreck. But I'm fine with it because the Pac-12 is loaded. I can't believe I'm saying it. They're loaded.
At number 4, the University of Georgia. Georgia.
Look at Kenny's look on his face. Hey, don't be losing at halftime to South Carolina.
It's laughable.
Why is it laughable?
First of all, if they would have made some kicks, maybe that game would have looked a little
bit ifs and buts, candy and nuts.
If I would have had 6 numbers in the Powerball, I wouldn't be here right now.
Bored, just like they were bored last year.
God, that's
They are.
That's
What do you
such a
want?
lazy take,
Kenny.
It's not lazy. It's the
So
truth.
hold on. So you expect
you guys have been
Rico-
saying that for weeks.
Stop
Don't call
it.
me
So-
lazy.
hold on. So Rico's supposed to rank your team with a boredom quotient?
Yes, absolutely. When you win
Yeah.
back-to-back titles.
All right.
that's
Well,
what I wanna
then you
hear.
know what? Call the Feinbaum show. Talk to Dale in Huntsville.
Most of these kids were not playing when they were winning back-to-back national championships. How they're bored.
Kenny, they don't look like the number one team in the nation. Plain and simple. They came back. They beat a conference team, an SEC team in South Carolina, so I give them credit for that. That's the only reason why they're ranked higher than Washington is because they played a better team than Washington
Number
has.
three.
And number 3 is USC coming off their bye week last week, led by Caleb Williams. I think them and Washington, in my opinion, are on the collision course. I can't wait for that game to happen.
I think USC's the first mistake you've made, but I'll let it go.
Too high?
Their defense is ass.
Yeah, but Mike, they're like
Ass.
I said,
Ass.
all right. At number 2, even though they just played a close game against Boston College, I have the Florida State Seminoles.
Ultimate look-ahead spot. They had Clemson on the road, and it was hurricane force winds. It was wild. Now, there's still no excuse to be in that type of spot against BC, the Fighting Halfleys. But it's going to happen to everybody. It happened to Georgia at Mizzou last year. It happens. I give them a one-time freebie because unlike Georgia, they've actually played somebody.
And that's just it. And at number 1, Texas is back. The University of Texas, fresh off of their
Wagon.
win, over Wyoming, 31-10. They look like the best team as of right now.
And the biggest thing, they win up front. It's the best O-line, D-line combo Texas has had in a decade. Weapons outside. Kenny knows about A.D. Mitchell. Xavier Worthy might be the best receiver in the country. Ewers looks legit. It's a team. It's built right. Can they not go full Texas? We'll find out. But yeah, to me, you went to Tuscaloosa and de-pants Saban.
So where should USC? What would you have had?
I would have flipped them in Washington. I would have just made Washington. But again, minor quibble.
Gotcha.
You need to talk to your boy over there.
Well, I knew he was going to be upset. At least David took it like a man. I knew Kenny would be pouting and crying.
Okay,
You're
fair.
number 1 too, Kenny.
Wow.
That's the
That
top
was
10.
excellent. That's what a power rank's supposed to be. Not ranking the dirty diapers in the Big Ten.
97-1.
My general disposition on the Big Ten for clarity.
You know,
All right, here we go.
You know what, Mike? Here's the deal.
Yes.
I was doing the power rankings, and when I realized
this was such I don't think we overplayed how hyped this game was for fans as a season opener, coming off a victory over the defending Super Bowl champs.
The building was alive.
Standing room only. Everyone talked about how loud it was. The players, the coaches, media, everything. And I expected a good team, which I still think the Lions can be a good team, by the way, because it's only 2 games in the year. But you win this game. We all said it. You go out and win this game. And to let down the fans, including myself, because I'm a fan, I'm just like it's just so deflating that they lost this game.
It was exactly deflating. All the energy that came in from, the place was amazing yesterday. Everybody was in their seat like at least 5 minutes before kickoff, which never happens. People filter in a little bit later. Everyone was already there.
I heard they opened the doors even earlier than usual.
They did. And it was so loud before the first snap of the game. I'm like, wow, this place is crazy loud right now. And an 8-minute drive to start the game by Seattle just totally put a pin in it. And, the Lions, they struggled. And then finally they start, doing their thing offensively. And Goff looked fantastic. But it was deflating.
5 o'clock. Great to have you. Been a very busy Tuesday. News of the day, C.J. Gardner-Johnson done for the year, torn pec. Other news of the day, Dan Campbell still doesn't know how to run a game right in a late game situation. When we talk about the injuries, we talk about the coaching. And guys, I'm telling you, I'm not overselling it. There aren't many easy games in the NFL, right? There's going to be one or two on the schedule. You go, all right, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, it's Carolina, and they just beat your ass. There are no easy games in the NFL. But there are games that fans perceive as easy that are, in fact, very dangerous. One of those games is this Sunday. Atlanta is a wagon. They're going to roll to town with the most complex and difficult ground scheme to stop, arguably in all of football. A three-headed monster at tailback. Have you seen Bijan run? Tyler Algier, Cordarrelle, Pitts, London.
Still Desmond Ridder at under center.
Noted the point I'm making. You down James Houston. You down C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We don't know if Mosley's going to play. We don't know if Tracy Walker is just a guy who wears a Walker jersey or can still play. If he were so good, you wouldn't have signed a guy to take his job. Charles Harris has been a nothing. Offensively, be shocked if Montgomery plays. That means it's Craig Reynolds and Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. Taylor Decker, is he going to play? Don't know. Guys, concern level. The other issue we talked about, if you're a U of M fan, what the hell do you take out of your first 3 games? Like, I'm hyped up to watch Ohio State play Notre Dame. And I will tell you, I will take more win, lose, or draw out of whatever happens to OSU Saturday than anything that happens to you your first 9 games. Because there's a very real possibility you don't face a bowl-eligible team until Penn State. Mm-hmm. And Saturday night, watching JJ throw it all over the yard to the other team, I'm like, what am I supposed to take from this? We did start the show with something else. I don't know that we'll get a lot of calls on it, but we can add this to the mix. Mel Tucker with his latest lawyered up response. He's an idiot. And Rico and I, look, we're on the same page with this. You do whatever you want. Media is going to do whatever they want to do with MSU. I don't care. Rico doesn't care. The whole point is this guy's gone. They're not going to pay out a whole hell of a lot of money. And reality is, I don't know that the fan base has a whole lot left. This Tucker thing and the con artistry he has exemplified. I know for me, I'm largely apathetic towards whatever the rest of the year is. We're calling it Apple Orchard Saturdays.
Cider Mill.
Yeah, I just don't believe in the Board of Trustees. I don't believe in Alan Haller. We don't have a president. I don't believe the university will get it right. So wake me up when they do.
See, and I think that your way of getting it right, if you're the university, is just make this man go away. Find a number that he wants, because had you just kept your mouth shut, this would be an open and shut thing. Mel, you're fired. Goodbye. But now you're going to have to pay out something. It's not going to be the $80 million that he's owed, but you can't play this out because it just looks bad. We all know you're getting a divorce. Just go be adults. Get the divorce, move on.
Oh, Mel or...
No, I'm talking Mel and MSU. I'm not talking about his personal life. I'm talking about Mel Tucker and Michigan State. So thank you. Let me clarify. That's what I'm talking about.
I was confused.
Mel Tucker, you're getting fired. Pay the man, work it out, sign this deal, don't sue us, move forward, go get a new coach.
So, everything's in play. First time in a while, we've got a couple open lines. If you want them, feel free. 248-539-9797. We'll check in with David on the ticket text and get to the callers. But the Lions thing, if you want a scale of 1 to 10, concern level for me, 6.5. The injuries are mounting. You got that short turnaround to Green Bay. Losing to Seattle the way you lost, the same way you lost last year, basically. And Dan Campbell, again, in a late game spot. I'm concerned. And in fairness, Rico didn't ask for a lot. You got to be 5-3 after the first 8. Well, if you go into this Atlanta game and your defense can't come up with a better product than what they've displayed and you lose, Do you understand how tense it's going to be on a short turnaround to Lambeau?
And I'm thinking because it's a short turnaround, kind of how the Chiefs did with Kelsey, I'm thinking that's what the Lions are probably going to do with Montgomery.
Make sure he's 100%.
You're not going to play 2 games in 5 days. We're just going to sit you down, and
Which is another reason Thursday night football should be illegal. It is unfair to the players. It's dangerous, and it artificially affects the product. Yeah. Sorry.
But you get 10 days off afterwards.
Ooh. David.
Regarding the Lions, someone says, my concern is at a 6, and I'm really nervous that all teams can just double team Aiden, and we won't get able to get pressure. That is from Isaac.
Then you know what that means, unfortunately? Then Aiden's not the player you hope he is. Myles Garrett double-teamed every play. Nick Bosa double-teamed every play. Joey Bosa double-teamed every play. Like, guys, here's the deal. He's number 2 pick in the draft, and he should have been number 1 if Trent Baalke wasn't a moron, okay? Learn to beat the double teams. Learn to be a game wrecker, or you're not the guy we hope you are. And I'm not telling you it's easy. And I'm not telling you he doesn't get held. They all get held. It's a results game. Now, week 1 was better than week 2. I was brutally disappointed in everyone on that front against Seattle from a pass rush perspective. That was brutal. You hit Geno Smith once with a minute to go in the game.
I was about to say at the end of the game.
Once. Yeah. Come on, man. Really?
Yeah. Regarding Michigan State, someone says, if we lose to Maryland, I'm not going to watch any games for the rest of the season.
And you know what? I think that's where the second half of the people. Mike, I think you're in the first half.
Who are you pulling for Saturday?
For MSU.
Are you sure?
Yes. I'll go hang out with Locks, and we'll go get some ribs after the game, but me and Locks, but
Rico, age 7.
We'll have an extra seat available because the other coach won't be there.
If they lose to Maryland on homecoming,
I think
you will see 100% fan revolt.
Yeah, I think right now, probably 30, 35% are where you are, right? But if you lose, homecoming, alum, everybody's there, and it's embarrassing, then there's really nothing you could do.
Yeah, if the players play hard, the effort's there, they win a few games, I can stay in touch with it.
You beat Maryland, and now you're on the path to Ford Field.
Look, making a bowl game is important because you're trying to keep the program together.
Right.
There is a part of me where I'm happy to sit back in a lawn chair and watch the whole thing burn to the ground because I think it's the only way to get them to wake up in East Lansing.
Yeah, but if you get it in college football, Mike, when you burn something to the ground, rarely does it come back until about 20 years later.
Right, and that's my point is at least I won't have to care. I can just let go.
Care. You want to care.
I want to care, but my school can't run itself appropriately.
No, you're right. They can't get right.
Sure, I don't know what that means.
He's a character from the movie Life.
Okay.
Those who've seen the movie know exactly who can't get right is.
Let's go to Joe. I want to make sure we get some callers. Let's go to Joe, 97.1. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Don?
How are you?
I just moved back from Chicago. Moved there before the Odyssey app, so glad to be back here and listening to all your positivity and whatnot.
Apologies.
Just wanted to say, hey, we were all in college one time, and JJ McCarthy knows how to manage his time. Let's let him have an off week after a night out at Rick's, right?
I mean, listen, Joe, I don't care either way. He's a good player.
You know what I'm saying?
But Joe, you can't. Here's the deal. When people want to throw it out there, Heisman, national title, all right, well, here's what comes with it. You can't throw you can't throw 3 picks against Bowling Green. That's all. He's a good player, but Christ, Joe, your program is the one who put a Georgia countdown clock in the locker room.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to do here, Joe? They don't look very good.
So for the viewers or the listeners then, who are you more optimistic about, Michigan or the Lions through 3 weeks?
Oh, listen, it would be Michigan because they get to do something the Lions don't get to do. They get to take the field with tangibly more talent than their opponent in potentially 11 of 12 games. Right. You don't get to do that in the NFL.
Right. If the Lions were started off the year with Carolina and the Texans and the Colts, we'd be feeling a lot better about the Lions team right now because you're going up against bad
here's the difference. I picked the Lions. I thought they could go 11-6, 10-7. For Michigan, the worst case scenario in my world was always 10-2. Right off the rip, I have to answer U of M. The Big Ten still goes to Ann Arbor until somebody knocks you off.
Correct.
All I'm trying to tell you is I don't bleep on my head and tell me it's raining. The first 3 weeks, you're playing a bunch of corpses. You don't even look alive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, meanwhile, I'm getting to watch other teams play real games. Like, what are you taking out of it?
Right. You can all of a sudden say, okay, they went up against this team. They played this team on the road. They went through something. You are struggling with bad teams.
I love the fans, too, now. Now you have to apologize when JJ doesn't play well, and then he beats a nobody, and you have to put him in the Heisman race. Mm-hmm. Is that what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Tell you, it is cable news with sports fans sometimes. 248-539-9797. 282,000 auto accidents in Michigan last year, many of them ending with someone being critically injured. Bottom line, distracted driving, huge problem. You need affordable life insurance. You need national benefit plans. They'll shop over 70 different life insurance carriers nationwide. They guarantee you the best possible rate. And in the event of that tragic car accident or a devastating diagnosis, your family is covered. Longer you wait, possibility of not getting coverage increases, so don't wait. Call Mike now, 877-734-2200. That's 877-734-2200, or you simply go on the web, nbphealth.com. Remember, National Benefit Plans would like to be your health and life insurance agency for a lifetime.
The C.J. Gardner-Johnson possibly being out for the year, that I told you yesterday, I was maybe on the ledge. I'm on the ledge now and it's not just that injury, but that kind of put it over the top. I mean, Sunday's loss was one thing. It's the loss of bodies at this point. I mean, attrition is part of the NFL, but my God, I feel like I can't remember a week where they lost this many players and this many starters, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Decker was already out, but
Dan Campbell said this morning, he's like, we're gonna be thin. And then he pointed out we were kind of like that last year to start the season too. And I was thinking, and went 1-6 for the start. Let's not have a repeat.
Yeah, I mean it ain't great, but this is the NFL, man. I've said for like the last half a decade, attrition's such a big part of this game, and you've got to have as much depth as possible. We believed in the depth prior to the year. So the question becomes, do you still believe in the depth?
Couple things we're talking about. If you're a Lions fan, your level of concern. Mine's a 6. I think you'll beat Atlanta. And then for Michigan fans, what have you taken away from these 3 games? Because not really a lot to take from this. I think I can speak for Mike in saying we both think that you're the best team, and you'll be the last team standing in the Big Ten.
They're best until somebody knocks them off. I'm fine with it.
I just don't know what you are right now.
Here's the other thing. Guys, winning the Big Ten really isn't the goal for you. You're the one who put the clock in the locker room. So I compare you now, and I go, well, if you're on the field with Texas, you're losing by double digits. Straight up.
Yeah.
You got to show me. Ultimately, Blake Corum said it best. It's national title or bust. All right, let's go get it. Well, what comes with that? A standard. It's like the Lions. You lose a home game to Seattle, and your coach screws up the end of the game. We don't just go, well, it's one game, or rationalize it by saying, well, switch the results with Kansas City, and you'd feel, no. We beat Kansas City. We should be 2-0. Mm-hmm. There's a standard.
Yeah, you don't play for the tie at the end of a game.
David, 97.1. What's up, David? How you doing?
Fine. How you guys?
Excellent, hey, David. What's going
on? My concern level with Michigan's probably at about a 5. Like the last caller said, he kind of steered me into this a little bit because I was going to go a different direction. But JJ can't come out there and basically be his own hype man for 2.5 weeks and all summer long saying he's a changed man, he's a changed man, he's a changed man, that come out and throw 3 interceptions to Bowling Green. It kind of erases what he did the first 2 weeks in my eyes. Secondly, what we're seeing in this team with a lot of returning veterans making mental errors, being impatient, not blocking, executing up to what is expected of them. So we're not talking personnel here, obviously. I believe it's coming down to coaching, preparation, leadership, and focus, and where have we heard that one before? That sounds like the TCU game and every other bowl game under the Jim Harbaugh era. I have major concerns with the fact that the offensive line is blocking nobody, and obviously, as it's been said multiple times, we've played nobody. And we can sit there and talk about how Donovan looks disinterested. The entire offense and team looks like it's sleepwalking. It's almost as if they're meeting at midfield before kickoff, talking to the other coach and say, hey, you know what's going to go on here, right? So why don't we just go ahead and we'll tiptoe through this thing. You guys do what you're going to do, kind of lay down, and we'll just walk out of here with no injury.
David, all I'll tell you is this. I don't know where you are. David, there are rare teams in any sport that have ever possessed the ability to flip the switch. Like, exactly. You either have it or you don't. Like, if you're the 95 Bulls, all right, hey, we can talk about it. Like, David, you got to – like, Ohio State is going to have to go to South Bend this week, and they're going to have to be on. Mm-hmm. At least they're going to know where they're at, and if they win, lose, they're going to be able to draw from it. Yep. David, I'm with you. I just – look, man, I don't know what to take out of it.
Yeah, Ohio State know what we need to fix if we're going to make it to that next level.
I still think Michigan's the best team, David, but it's just kind of – I don't know if that's going to result in you beating anyone in the playoff again. And if you don't do that, that's a failure. That's like the Lions making the playoffs and not beating anybody. It's a waste.
I don't know. I obviously, coming into the season, I thought they were the best team in the Big Ten. I don't know anymore. I think Penn State is better. I think Ohio State, as rough as they looked the first couple weeks.
I got to see the quarterback play. David, Drew Aller, look, I get all the pedigree, fine. Same thing with McCord. I need to see it. Aller, if he plays that way against you guys, you'll beat them by double digits. I didn't like the way he played against Illinois. And, David, you know this. How the hell am I going to trust James Franklin in a big spot? He makes Dan Campbell look like Einstein.
Agreed. My only issue with Penn State is it's at their place. So Aller's not coming to our place.
Fair.
If it was flip-flopped, then I wouldn't be. Then I would. Because I was worried about Penn State in July.
Yeah,
but
I'll tell you, David, you should be a little bit worried. But the fact that the game is at noon and not at 8 helps you out tremendously. 100%.
100%. It's just my whole thing about this first 3 weeks is they look like they're sleepwalking, and I'm tired of hearing about this magic button that somebody's going to push and then it gets turned on.
I'm with you. And here's the other thing. You know what, David? This is the other thing, and I'm turning into angry old man yelling at clouds. All these players want to get paid, want to be treated like pros. Well, here's the other thing. You're paying your money to watch it. It's unacceptable to go out there and sleepwalk. It's unacceptable. Fair. Oh, I had a long week at school. No, you didn't want to play school. See, now you're going to be held to the same standard the dudes and the pros are held to.
Fair. No, that's fair. Fair. I mean, because, yeah, you want to make a business. It's all about your NIL dollars. Well, go out there and give the people something.
Blake Corum's flipping houses. That's great. Score touchdowns. Like, this is the part of the sport that is so effed up now.
Yeah, because it's not even just about the fans anymore. What about the booster or the business that's paying for your NIL, and you're going out there looking like 3 interceptions?
Well, it's why.
How dare you? He didn't mean it, David.
He was hanging out the night before.
He didn't mean it.
He was just being a student.
I quit. Let's go to Charles, 97.1. Charles, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. How's it going, fellas?
Hey, man.
Good.
Yeah, actually, no, the 3 games are garbage. But I understand how we got here. Because you remember back in the day, Michigan, when the SEC was playing garbage all the time, Michigan would play one good team, one medium team, one trash team.
Mm-hmm.
And they, if they lose that big game, then they're out of it. So why not play, trash games like them and then, let the regular season do your talking?
Well, I think the difference is the SEC, and look, I think the SEC, it's a bit of a con, but the SEC is insulated that they don't have to play others because they play each other. Mm-hmm. You don't have to like that. That's their mindset. The difference for you is the Big Ten is ass. Charles, you don't get better.
Lately.
Well, yeah, you mean like when you've won it? Yes. It's been you and OSU. I mean, Charles, the trophies count. You never have to apologize for them. But come on, you may not play a bowl-eligible team until November. Like, you can't run from that. No?
No, I agree. And like you said, the schedule is not the best. But I understand why they got here. I'm not agreeing with it.
So Charles, listen, that's fine. That's fine. You have a right to say, you know what, you're done talking over me, so now I'm just done with you. So my point is, you have a right to say, schedule no one, I like winning. Mm-hmm. Fine. I have a right to say it's a waste of everyone's time, including the paying customer. And your team doesn't get better. You don't get better playing helpless people. Think of it like a wrestler. And you're wrestling people that are bad at wrestling all the time. Your technique never improves. It's Shaquille O'Neal versus 5th graders. You're not improving anything. You're just winning by brute force. Mm-hmm. Now tell me, did Texas get better going to Tuscaloosa? Yes. Did Florida State get better playing LSU?
Yeah.
Yes. Will Ohio State get better by playing Notre Dame in South Bend Saturday?
Yes.
Yes. And if you want to go back to the 70s and the Bo playbook of Big 2, Little 8, play no one and get smoked in your bowl game, do it.
Because here's the thing. Going back to last year, had you played a game that was tougher, you would have been able to handle the adversity of the TCU game, not panic, and win that thing. Just saying.
I don't know. I know how I like my team to schedule, notwithstanding, what's going on right now with State.
But no, you normally want that one tough game.
I like that they flew out to Seattle and lost because at least they played somebody and you know the score. They went down to Miami and played. Like they've gone to Outson. They've had Oregon come in.
Or heck, even last week, at least now you know what the team is. And
yes, booty.
But you got a lot to fix. There's not one thing.
MSU's going to be wearing Nike Pro Combat booty jerseys. There's just going to be an ass on the helmet.
Thought you were going to say diapers.
Oh, Hydrochrome diaper edition.
Wow.
41-0. What an atrocity. 248-539-9797. When your furnace goes out, you need reliable service, and you need it now. Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical. They got you covered 24/7. No need to call around town. Mastercraft, locally owned for over 40 years. They back their work with a 5-year warranty. Mastercraft, your one-stop shop for heating, AC, generator, you name it. You mentioned you heard it on the show, you get 10% off service. Visit mastercraftheating.com.
Here's the thing about Gibbs is he needs to touch the ball more. We need to get more production out of him. He's a first-round pick, number 12 overall, and right now he's got 23 touches. That in 2 games.
Didn't Bijan have around 23 just on this Sunday?
Right, and whether it's and what Jahmyr Gibbs brings to this offense is the opportunity to be very creative, and that's where TJ and I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Where's the creativity been in this offense? Last year with Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him line up in the backfield. We saw him line up everywhere. And we saw one play on a 4th down conversion to Amon-Ra St. Brown. One play that we look at and we say, okay, that's creative. We saw the flea flicker. That was creative. It created a touchdown.
He had one other play because I remember saying a Gator. I don't remember who
but
was
with
the top of my
Jahmyr
head. That's a
Gibbs,
great
I would
play
expect
call.
to see more creativity with how you use him.
My general disposition on the Big Ten for clarity. All right, here we go.
You know what, Mike? Here's the deal.
Yes.
I was doing the power rankings, and when I realized that even after the loss to Washington, Michigan State was still 8th on my power rankings.
Oh, no.
We said we got to move on. David, I give you the top 10.
Wait, so Rico's finally
if
come
you
to
wanna
my
know,
side
here,
on this.
14 Northwestern, 13 Indiana, 12 Nebraska, 11 Illinois, 10 Purdue, 9 Rutgers, 8 MSU, 7 Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, Iowa, OSU, U of M, Penn State.
I still would put MSU probably 12th based on.
I wanted to.
Oh.
And I couldn't because it is so far. Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
So this is America's top 10.
America's top 10, at least according to me. At number 10, want to take a guess?
No, I just prefer to hear it.
Bo Nix, the Oregon Ducks. Oregon coming off of a 55-10 victory over Hawaii. They got Coach Prime in Colorado this weekend. At 9,
well,
go ahead.
No, we're not going to tell people why. What are you just reading? Is that the segment? We're just going to do a cue card?
Oh no, go ahead.
Over to Phil. Back to Raquel.
Go ahead.
No, at least we know Oregon has gone on the road. Difficult place to play down at Texas Tech and got to win. Mm-hmm. This week, here's the deal. You want to show me you're legit. You launch Dion into the sun, preferably by north of 21 points. Quack, quack. You're at home. End this charade, please.
At number 9, and this team has a chance to rise a lot higher next week because they're traveling to Notre Dame, the Ohio State.
See, I like this. I like that you're willing to rank teams and not just go along with the whole think tank. Mm-hmm. OSU has not looked like a top 5 team. Mm-mm. So therefore, I think it's totally legitimate to put them 9. Major question at quarterback. I still question. We talk in Detroit about Dan Campbell's decision-making. When are we going to talk about Ryan Day's? I mean, the statistics on Ryan Day in 3rd and short, 4th and short, the play calls, lack of success. He's got a weird obsession about wanting to run the ball. And it's like, Ryan, then you have to recruit a team that does that.
Right.
I am with you. They would be in my top 10, but barely. Mainly because really there aren't that many good teams in America.
At number 8, the team that they're playing. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, they just had the 41-17 victory over Central Michigan.
They remind me a lot of Michigan. Physical, they're going to line up and smash. And all summer you read about it. Marcus Freeman was getting this team to build an edge. And when they play, look, they went on the road to NC State. I'm not telling you NC State's a world beater.
Right.
But I've seen them go on the road, sold-out crowd, and they gutted that team in crunch time. Notre Dame now has OSU coming to town, and to me, Notre Dame is the best facsimile of U of M in America. So how that game goes, I think gives us a window into how OSU Michigan's going to go. And if OSU wilts, can't hold their water, Michigan will roll them again.
Funny you mentioned Michigan, Mike, because at 7, the University of Michigan. You played 3 non-conference games.
And you looked like ass in all of them.
Yeah.
Sorry. Plus, are we allowed to have a conversation about J.J. McCarthy? How do you throw 3 picks against Bowling Green? Look, we know you're good. You might be great. But when you don't play anyone and then you don't look good playing them, this is how the poll should go, David. This is how it should be in real life.
No, I agree with your placement because we've shown to be a little bit better than Ohio State right now and Notre Dame, but we're not better to be in the top 5.
Right.
Haven't shown that.
So, yeah, I have them at 7. I know your ticket techs are about to blow up.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're not saying they're bad.
No.
And I think Michigan has the highest upside on the list. If Michigan wins all their games, they'll end up in the playoff. They'll end up Big Ten champions. And it won't matter what they were ranked on September 19th.
See, I think a lot of that depends on what Ohio State does because there's going to be a lot of teams, Mike, vying for those 4 chairs.
I was only going to be upset if you put Alabama ahead of Michigan.
No.
Then I would have laughed in your face. Go ahead.
Spoiler alert, Alabama's not in the top 10.
Don't deserve to be.
At number 6 is Penn State. Penn State just beat Illinois 30-13. They did beat West Virginia, a Power 5 school, though it was at home. I think I look at that victory as more impressive than what Michigan has gone through. So right now, I have Penn State a little bit higher than Michigan.
Need more from Drew Aller. The defense is real. That's one of the 5 best defenses in America, but I need more from Aller. And again, got away with several turnover-worthy throws at Illinois. They could rise, but again, the quarterback is what concerns me.
At number 5, probably, a team that most people finally saw for the first time this year, if you watched the game in East Lansing, the University of Washington, led by Michael Penix, who I think is going to win the Heisman Trophy.
It's really an unstoppable offense. Kalen DeBoer, the scheme, an NFL QB, first-round pick QB, 3 NFL receivers. My fear, I got to see that defense against someone real. Boise State's offense was a train wreck with a new OC. MSU was a train wreck. But I'm fine with it because the Pac-12 is loaded. I can't believe I'm saying it. They're loaded.
At number 4, the University of Georgia. Georgia.
Look at Kenny's look on his face. Hey, don't be losing at halftime to South Carolina.
It's laughable.
Why is it laughable?
First of all, if they would have made some kicks, maybe that game would have looked a little
bit ifs and buts, candy and nuts.
If I would have had 6 numbers in the Powerball, I wouldn't be here right now.
Bored, just like they were bored last year.
Don't do that. God, that's such
What do you want?
a lazy take,
Kenny.
Man.
It's not lazy. It's the
truth. Hold on. So you expect
you guys
Rico,
have been saying that for weeks. Don't call me lazy.
Hold on. So Rico's supposed to rank your team with a boredom quotient?
Yes, absolutely. When you win back-to-back titles.
All right. Well, then you know what? Call the Feinbaum show. Talk to Dale in Huntsville.
Bored. Most of these kids were not playing when they were winning back-to-back national championships. How they're bored?
Kenny, they don't look like the number 1 team in the nation. Plain and simple. They came back. They beat a conference team, an SEC team in South Carolina, so I give them credit for that. That's the only reason why they're ranked higher than Washington is because they played a better team than Washington
Number 3.
And number 3 is USC coming off their bye week last week, led by Caleb Williams. I think them and Washington, in my opinion, are on a collision course. I can't wait for that game to happen.
I think USC's the first mistake you've made, but I'll let it go.
Too high?
Their defense is ass.
Yeah, but Mike, they're like
ass.
I said,
ass.
All right. At number 2, even though they just played a close game against Boston College, I have the Florida State Seminoles.
Ultimate look-ahead spot. They had Clemson on the road, and it was hurricane force winds. It was wild. Now, there's still no excuse to be in that type of spot against BC, the Fighting Halfleys. But it's going to happen to everybody. It happened to Georgia at Mizzou last year. It happens. I give them a one-time freebie because unlike Georgia, they've actually played somebody.
And that's just it. And at number 1, Texas is back. The University of Texas, fresh off of their win, over Wyoming, 31-10. They look like the best team as of right now.
And the biggest thing, they win up front. It's the best O-line, D-line combo Texas has had in a decade. Weapons outside. Kenny knows about A.D. Mitchell. Xavier Worthy might be the best receiver in the country. Ewers looks legit. It's a team. It's built right. Can they not go full Texas? We'll find out. But yeah, to me, you went to Tuscaloosa and D-Pants Saban.
So where should USC? What would you have had?
I would have flipped them in Washington. I would have just made Washington. But again, minor quibble. Gotcha. You need to talk to your boy over there.
Well, I knew he was going to be upset. At least David took it like a man. I knew Kenny would be pouting and crying.
Okay,
You're
fair.
number 1 too, Kenny.
Wow.
That
was excellent. That's what a power rank's supposed to be. Not ranking the dirty diapers in the Big Ten.
97-1.
My general disposition on the Big Ten for clarity.
All
right, here we go.
You know what, Mike? Here's the deal.
Yes.
I was doing the power rankings, and when I realized that even after the loss to Washington, Michigan State was still 8th on my power rankings.
Oh, no.
We said, we got to move on. David, I give you the top 10.
Wait, so Rico's finally
if
come
you
to my
know,
side on this.
14 Northwestern, 13 Indiana, 12 Nebraska, 11 Illinois, 10 Purdue, 9 Rutgers, 8 MSU, 7 Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, Iowa, OSU, U of M, Penn State.
I still would put MSU probably 12th based on.
I wanted to.
Oh.
And I couldn't because it is so far. Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
So this is America's top 10.
America's top 10, at least according to
All
me.
right, get involved.
At
It's Moran
number
Buick GMC.
10.
Your schedule's packed
Take a
this
guess.
fall, whether it's
No,
youth
I just
sports.
prefer to hear it.
Hey, maybe you
Bo
go on
Nick.
a hunting trip, whatever it is. They got you covered. 2024 Enclave for Moran, seats up to 7. Maybe the GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation 4x4 is what you need. New stock arrives daily. And if something's off with the vehicle, go to MoranExpress.com. Get the certified service appointment. Be on your way. You get the free loaner. They'll call you when your car is done. If you're having engine trouble or anything else, MoranExpress.com. It's Moran Buick GMC, where you always get the best price, period. It's on Telegraph, just north of Eureka and Taylor, or at MoranExpress.com. It's Moran
I'd
Buick
prefer
GMC.
to not be here right
We are
now.
professional grade.
Welcome in. I just, people, I thought we were done with it. I thought we were done with having to lower our expectations, but that's where I'm at. It's a beautiful day here in Detroit. It's a beautiful life. But I have to tell you, I have to lower my expectations for this team because they're not ready for it. They're not ready to deliver on what I thought they were ready to deliver on because yesterday was unforgivable. That was as rat-ass, sloppy, nonsense a performance as you're going to see. 10 days rest, coming home, a team coming to town who has no playmakers up front and has street free agents at both tackle spots. You hit the quarterback one time. This team went out and made mistakes that they just don't make. And whether it's, I got a real problem with one of the fourth downs, but that's fine. The fumble to come out of the half, to flip the game on its ear. This defense on third down, able to do nothing. Nothing. And Rico's BFF, Geno Smith, beats us again.
All right, knock down a couple of calls here. Odyssey.com rewind. You missed anything? Covered Lions, Michigan, a little bit of Michigan State too.
And you know what, people? Let me tell you one thing. If you haven't, you need to download Cash Your Ticket. I get private Cash Your Ticket tutorial sessions in the break. Mike.
College good. NFL this past weekend was a total disaster.
Mike is a professor. He is Dr. Valenti when
Nope.
it comes to gambling.
Man, if that was the case, I wouldn't do this for a living. I have fun with it. I try to stay alive.
I mean, the
It's a good
theories
time.
that you have are phenomenal.
Dude, I took Rico through the card, David. Hair on his head fell off. Because I'm like, all the games you'd want to bet, everyone's on that team. And you're like, I can't do that.
The only one that I think I would be guaranteed to bet this weekend is Iowa Penn State under.
I'll have to find that.
I don't even know what it is. I'm just going to take the under.
Let's get to the people. Jeff, 97.1. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, how's it going, Mike and Rico? How are you guys doing today?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, just wanted to kind of address the whole Mel Tucker issue, and the 50 cents that he's worth, and how we can actually become relevant again.
Okay.
Rico, I mean, I saw your segment. I think it was yesterday, and it was ironic because I also mentioned that to Spartan Mag last week about Urban Meyer, and the rebuttal was in regards to image, and I know Michigan State keeps that close to their vest.
Yeah.
And,
you know what, Jeff?
and
I would
simply
say, screw your image, go out and win, and that's your new image.
100%.
Here's your problem.
Because I mean,
Jeff, here's your problem. Like, I'm not arguing either of you. I've given up on the idea that State will be viewed positively, but the problem is you don't have the donor base, and you don't have the BOT. You don't have a strong president. In order to make a move like that, you're going to need about $10 million a year. You're going to need to give up total control. You're going to have to treat him like Coach Prime. He does whatever he wants. You're going to have to put up with a ton of negative press, and you would have to have everyone aligned and stand behind that. The MSU does not have and I'm not recommending it. I'm not shooting it down. I'm not laughing at it. I get where both of you are coming from. Jeff, MSU doesn't have the spinal cord to pull that off.
Yeah, I wish they would kind of take the Coach Izzo approach. And it's funny, all the U of M fans in the quick chat, and I'm not going to talk trash about University of Michigan, even though I am a diehard Spartan because I like to show respect. But when you're playing MAC school for the first 7 weeks, let's get serious. But to circle back to that, and just like you mentioned with the Coach Prime, I mean, if we're going to be relevant, because you have Oregon, you have Washington, you have University of Michigan and the Buckeyes, for us to even be on the same field, to lose by 14 or maybe 7 just to actually compete, we do have to have that right now talent. Someone that can bring in the talent, the coaching staff, the recruits, at least get a 4.5-star caliber quarterback. You know what I mean?
All right, here's what I would tell you, Jeff. If you want to know, and like I know, Rico's getting annoyed because I won't give my list of people because I just think it's way too early.
No.
Here's what I would tell you. I think more so than ever, the way college football is going, you need to hire a coach with a dynamic offense. That ain't about how I want it to be. I've always viewed it. Michigan State has been a defensive-minded school. If you don't have a quarterback and you don't have a dynamic offense, you're not going to win a thing.
Or you can have a coach with a name, but you're smart enough to know I'm going to go get this guy, and his offense is phenomenal. He's going to be my OC, and he's going to run this thing. I'm going to leave him alone. Go score points for me. Yeah. Go make this game fun.
And look, if you want to hear our thoughts on it, Odyssey.com rewind. I'm very apathetic towards it because it's like knowing it'll end up in a car crash. You don't much care about the journey.
I'm trying to look at the safest pick that they could go and get and just try to make myself ready for that.
See, you're acting like a loser, and I don't like that. You're better than that.
No, Mike.
You are beautiful no matter what they say. Because words can't bring you down.
It's just going to break my heart when I watch the Board of Trustees screw it up. So
No. That's where you just, Michigan famously will disassociate people from their program. You should disassociate. Just disassociate.
Are you coming around to the idea of Harlan Barnett taking over?
Like hell. But Bob, you know this.
No, I know.
They can do whatever they want. Yeah. I don't have to care. I'm not going to, I'll give anything a chance. But we're at a point now, this con man came in here. And to me, if they don't get this hire right, at least I know I don't have to care.
See, I was going to say, hypothetically speaking, playing your game, Wojo, Harlan goes out, beats Michigan, beats Ohio State, beats Penn State.
He'll take the job.
I'm playing the.
No, they would.
No. If you hire him, it only comes with the fact everybody else is gone. You start over. Go find me coaches. Go find a new OC. Go find a new DC.
Yeah, and I agree with you on calling Tucker. I mean, a con man or whatever.
He's a grifter.
Yeah. Do you know what in that letter he sent today, where he mentioned it was right after I apprised Michigan State that I had a health issue, a serious health issue?
Yeah, what did his junk hurt?
No. Do you know? No. Do you know?
I thought you were going to say something else. I'm sorry.
I was trying to save you, Mike.
What did you think I was going to say?
What did you think he was going to say?
I thought you were going to make a reference to one of his slogans. So
No.
No,
Well,
he just had a broken wrist is all.
Carry on.
No. When he was the defensive coordinator of the Bears in 2014, go back and look at it. They were trying to fire him, and he
filed the same thing.
FMLA.
FMLA.
Yes.
I know.
The exact same thing,
because you
which I
can't
think he's
fire
going to do.
somebody.
Well, Joe,
once you go on that, you can't legally fire them.
a con artist.
He knows how to
unbelievable.
work the system.
But it worked. That's the crazy thing. I mean, it worked to the tune of $100 million.
Yeah, well,
Greatest con ever.
No, I mean,
hell,
it
it's
is
worked with multiple U.S. presidents.
Yeah.
If you do that, if you say
We got
you're
a
sick,
mummy in the Oval Office right now. It worked.
It's like a real life opportunity knocks with Dana Carvey.
If
Although those guys just
if you
screw it
say
up.
you're sick, or if you all of a sudden say, "Hey, I got some type of an addiction," can't fire you.
Right. You got to separate yourself from your personal integrity and just accept you don't have any, and you can accomplish lots of things.
I do that
You
every
really
day.
can.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Rieger's very good at it.
Man,
I'm on the radio every day at 6.
No, so it gets to a point like, okay, they're going to be awful, fine. I don't have any faith. We don't have a president. I think the
that's
AD's
an
in
issue.
over his head, and the BOT is a clown car, another set of grifters.
But hold on a sec, because if they win a game you don't think they're going to win,
Okay.
you can't help but to get excited.
No, I can because it's all about the end point. If I told you you're going to have lots of laughs on this road trip, but at the end, you'll be killed in a head-on semi-accident.
Oh.
Are you going to really get excited about laughing?
Jesus Christ.
Can we go
You know
back
what?
to the junk
Can we
talk?
rewind?
Yeah.
just a little
You know,
bit.
that's probably
Yeah.
the best thing that Mike's able
That's
to do.
just-
Out of the blue, just pull a reference like
let's
that.
go back to injured junk. That was
Right, that-
Then you're going to
less
die in some fiery
menacing.
crash.
I'm just saying the MSU Board of Trustees is driving the semi.
Yeah.
And they'll kill any good idea coming down the
mean
road.
How big are the
Fickle.
laughs that I'm going to have?
like Luke Fickle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't hire him. I want a minority research project. And dead.
And then Mrs.
And
Skirt, Fickle's like,
skirt. Dead.
Luke,
Con man.
Luke,
Penis.
here. Luke, no. We're not going there, Luke.
But you get my point.
Mrs. Pickle.
I don't have anything left because I'm not 22 or 32 anymore.
You'll rejuvenate. You will.
I'll tell you what. Show me a real president. Show me an inspired hire. And show me that they've rallied donors, that they're actually going to take this serious. Because anything other than that, all of the things I cared about with college football, here, laugh at me. I was excited in 99 when they went to the Citrus Bowl.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
an actual real bowl game. Winning
No,
10
I agree
games
with you. I
mattered.
was sad, yeah.
Making a BCS bowl used to matter, or making the playoff. Well, now we've stripped away everything to where if you're not competing for the playoff, you're going to have players leaving.
And that's just it.
Mid-season.
You have to be a top 15 team every year, meaning you're vying for one of those 12 spots. You may not get it every year, but you're at least in competition. You know what Michigan State needs to be? And I hate to say that. You need to be Penn State. You won't win the Big Ten, but you're going to be relevant enough throughout the year.
We already had the part where we're coached by a con man.
So I hear you
James
saying,
Franklin.
I feel like you don't want Michigan State just to promote your Duck Hunter defensive coordinator.
You could say that.
Was it called Duck Hunter, Duck Club? What
Duck
is it?
Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty.
Yes, with a nice beard.
Duck Dynasty
so wait,
defensive
but hold on.
coordinator.
I heard that Tom Izzo wants to coach football.
Okay.
Do we go back to those rumors?
We're done here.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah,
well,
so no,
Rieger,
I'm
just for
kinda-
you, the schedule came
I'm
out
very
today in
just-
hoops.
Whatever about it.
Yeah, I mean, what are you
Now
gonna
that's
do?
something I don't care about
Nothing.
anymore.
You never
Michigan
know.
hoops.
Mark D'Antonio at the time was a semi-underwhelming hire. He had an 18-17 record at Cincinnati, and he turned out fantastic. Right?
Right.
So
should I give you
But no,
the
no, no,
list
but-
of people my school has hired that didn't turn out?
Okay,
But
I'm
Wojo,
aware of that list.
I will say
Donnell,
this. I don't think
Bobby.
that the next coach is going to be able to have 4 years to get the school on track. Because
Well-
4 years means that all your good players have transferred out.
But you're being too hard on Michigan. They've hired great basketball coaches.
No, they haven't. They hired one.
That's what I mean.
Really? Two.
They haven't hired a bad one in 30 years.
Give it time. Just wait
Well,
till
they've
Tom
only had-
retires.
They've only had 3.
I know.
Right. Can't wait till they name John Garavaglia as successor.
Oh, no.
Andre Hudson.
What's Brian
Oh,
Heller be
history
doing
of-
these days?